Hello everyone, good morning, how are we all? Lovely to see you. Goodness gracious, we've got Mr. T joining us bright and early. Lillian is here, hello. Lizzie, not animal tested, as usual. Dave Smith says, evening from the UK, hello Dave Smith. Dave says, is it Easter week? Look, I had the pumpkins, and I guess the pumpkins were for Thanksgiving, and I just liked them, so I kept them. Rezel says, this week's game's on Sunday. I'm happy to join the stream. I'm glad you could join us this week, Rezel. Good to see you. Afternoon on the Eastern Coast. Bye Guy reporting in. Good to have you here, Jim. Thank you. Can we buy you a bad hair day hat? What? Why? When have I ever had a bad hair day? What do you mean? Interesting choice of music says, what is this music, by the way? So I grabbed this from YouTube because it's supposed to be copyright safe, and I don't know about this. I don't know about this song. Like, it sounded okay, and like I listened to a little bit of it, but then like listening to it just like for a while, I feel like we're at a hypnotist's or something. Hello to Aaron in Texas. Hello to David Abercrombie. Hello to Stoneham for Dave Rendon. Hello. Oakland, California for Erez Powell. Good to see you. Howdy from overcast north of Mississippi, says James. And Astro Cryptid is here. And hello to Jim and everybody else. Hi, welcome on in. A couple big announcements this week, I guess, and then we're going to get into the archives. Then, oh boy, do I have an archive hunt for you all. Yes is the answer to that. Do I? Yes, I do. We're going to be looking for Paul Lynde stuff this week. Also just Bewitched in general and some other, like, you know, queer entertainment, like we usually do. Some queer entertainment stuff. I've been reading about Bewitched lately, so working on a video about that. So we're going to do a little research on it. King Pointless says, I have to know you keep a ponytail in a box. I don't know where that ponytail went. King Pointless is the problem. It's around here somewhere. When I was in high school, I had long hair. I had it cut off. I saved the ponytail, my own ponytail, for some reason. It was in a drawer for like literally years, and I would open the drawer and be like, ugh, I'll deal with this later. And now I don't know what's become of it. It's somewhere. Play public domain music from the 1910s is King Pointless. Pump that Irving Berlin. Thank you, Erez, for the scruffy face compliment. Perfect hair every time. I trimmed myself. I give myself a little trim right before I went live. Death Star is here. Hello, bonjour. Good to see you. Death Star, friend from Twitch. If you haven't heard, I'm also live streaming on Twitch 3 times a week. There's the URL right down there. So come join me on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if you want more live streaming. We're chatting about all kinds of stuff over there. For example, I don't know if you heard, I just got nominated for a GLAAD award. I'm going to be talking about that a lot and bragging and feeling pretty good about it because I feel pretty good about that. So I got nominated for a GLAAD award, everybody. What? It was for writing about gay bars and how a lot of queer spaces have been disappearing over this past year and what can be done about that. So, and remembering the spaces that we had before they vanished. So, wow, I find out if I win in April, and I want to be very like, oh, it's an honor to be nominated, and everybody in the category is very talented, and we're all a wonderful company. But I want to win is the thing. I want this thing. Yeah. So that's what's up with that. Also, I got to tell you all something very exciting. In addition to the GLAAD award thing, which is, whatever, I've had some art done recently. If you are aware of me, if you have been following me on Twitter, this is not a surprise for you. But, very excitingly, after writing about and covering and spending time with and going to conventions for furries for years, I recently, finally, commissioned a furry artist to do a portrait of me, and I'm very excited to unveil it right now. Here you go. Are you ready for this? Check this out. Look at this beautiful art that I had done. Oh, look at that. Look at that rabbit. It's me. Making the face. I was like, I want to look like, come on in. I want to look welcoming and friendly and enthusiastic. And this is Orlando Fox did this art. And I'm very, very happy with it. Let's see. Lizzie says, I was having a weird depersonalization mental health day yesterday. I watched your Harvey Milk video 15 times in a row. I don't know why. Well, I hope it was helpful. Was it the Phyllis one that I recently did? Or there was another? I did 2 Harvey Milk ones recently. So hopefully that was helpful. I'd recommend this electronica Wait, whoops, just scrolled, I lost you. Norman says, I would recommend this electronic is fine as an intro, but then move it to classical public domain. Yeah, actually, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring this down. Let's bring this down all together. Uh-oh. What the what? Oh, there it is. It's like, oh, no. Oh, good, it's starting over. That's exactly what I want to do, thank you. And we're gonna bring up something a little more, relaxing. This should be a little more chill. There we go. Some nice chill beats in the background there. Nice and soft. Oh my goodness. And thank you, King of Pointless, for the award nomination. Well done on the award nomination. I idolize you, Mr. Babs. Oh, King of Pointless. That's so kind. I'm so glad. Thank you. Oh, Jim says the 5 o'clock shadow looks good to you. Thank you. It's like 5 o'clock several days ago at this point. James says, Templeton himself. What fun among the obscure Hirschfelds in my collection. Oh! I didn't know there was a Hirschfeld of Paul Lynde. Gee. Norman says, oh no, sorry to hear about that. Tested positive for COVID early this month. Only got minor issues. Can't wait to get vaccinated. Yeah. You and me and everybody else. Carrie says, congrats on the nomination. Thank you very much. Deathstar says, it's a very good article. You should all go read it. Yes. If you search for, oh gosh, what do you search for? It's on them.us. I tweeted it like a day or two ago. So if you find me on Twitter, you'll find a link to it. Bryant is here. Hello, Bryant. Glad to have you here. Arez says, very adorable bunny furry art portrait. Thank you. It's a Matt Bunny, says Mr. T. Kipola says, this ain't Irving Berlin. No, but this is also supposedly copyright safe and does not have distracting lyrics, which is another issue. Like, I can find, like, public domain music, but a lot of it is, like, distracting and playing in the background. You pay more attention to the lyrics and the music than you do to whatever's going on in the foreground. Anyway. It looks like the quick bunny crust with John Oliver, says Mr. T-Bone. All right, you may not be wrong about that, but he's got my beard is the important thing. King says, is them a website about giant ants? It is. It's all the news about giant ants. It's the most awkward website to write for because I'm writing for them. And they're like, who? It's like an Abbott Costello routine. No, just go read them. Read who? Read what? Lisa said, did you hear about Cloris Leachman? Yes, indeed, but she leaves us so many wonderful things to remember her by. I've got, as you may know, a video about Cloris's appearance on the show Phyllis on my YouTube channel, so check that one out if you want to watch Cloris Leachman responding. It's a really groundbreaking episode. Her boyfriend comes out of the closet on this episode, and it says that he's gay, and instead of being like mad or upset about it, she's like, well, I gotta help you come out to more people. So really supportive, positive episode at a time when that really was not a thing. Okay, so let's switch over to some of our research for this stream, if I can figure out how to do that. Where is my PC stream? There we go. Okay. Here we are. So, I'm not sure how much y'all are familiar with Paul Lynde and Bewitched and Uncle Arthur and all that stuff. So, Bewitched, a show 1964, I believe, to 72, about a witch secretly living amongst mortals. She marries a witch, marries a mortal, and they have to keep it a secret. And Paul Lynde was an actor who would appear occasionally as her Uncle Arthur, a goofy comedian, and very loosely coded. Let's say, I don't know, like not very coded is what I'm trying to say. Queer character, just like so. Paul was a comedian in the '60s, like '50s, '60s, '70s, and did not was I'm trying to think of like how to phrase this nicely. Was fairly visibly gay without actually like talking about it. So, oh, and Brian, thank you so much for the tip. I appreciate that so much. Look at that bouncing pear. Whoa, look at him go. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I can't stop looking at him. he's going to town. Anyway, Brian, thank you so much. I am very, very grateful. Hope you're having a lovely afternoon. Anyway, Paul Lynde appeared on a whole bunch of stuff. Started like prominent career with Bye Bye Birdie. Played like that the harried husband, the father. He often played like roles where he was like, oh, I don't know what to do about these kids, because that was like his big song in Bye Bye Birdie. And then he was just like a guest star on everything. He would always pop up as a guest star. There's one week where he's a guest star on I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched the same week, playing obviously different characters, different networks. But anyway, he was always the guest, always like slyly making like gay innuendo jokes. He was on Hollywood Squares. I almost called it Pollywood Squares. He was on Hollywood Squares for years. Anyway, so we're gonna do a little dive. Check out some of his stuff. Check out some of the coverage from about him when he was around and on TV and doing his thing. Yes, the transparent closet, says James Polk. He was flamboyant, says Mr. T-Bone. Yes, all of these things. Aries grew up watching Bewitched on Nick at Night, loved Uncle Arthur. Well, then you're going to love some of the stuff that we found. Okay, so I dug up like a whole bunch of fascinating articles about this guy. We're looking at the Times Machine over here. Let's see. So I got a bunch of articles about him here. And then, oops, let's, can I get, oh, this is weird. There we go. Now we're switching tabs. New targets for the muse of gay wit. This is a passing reference to Paul in this one. We've got another article about Boy Meets Boy, a musical that might have some interesting ads around the edges of it. Nostalgic visit with a man who sachets in pink pants. Now that is a euphemism for the ages. Cabaret's staging a comeback. Some interesting things on television with Paul. Gale Blast from Halloween Past. Paul Lynde Halloween special we're going to be talking about at length. Don't worry. Here's some news about Paul Lynde getting his new television show with some more interesting TV listings off to the side. Funniest man is sad. Like, this headline, don't worry, it's not a bummer article. It's just such a weird headline. Funniest man is sad. Some more Paul Lynde stuff over there with his show. Life work of a great artist examined. Not Paul, but still the headline. He's mentioned in the article. And then some more Paul. And so I find this so interesting because all these articles from the 70s, mostly 70s, a little 60s, are such an interesting case study in how you talk about someone who is gay without actually ever acknowledging that he is gay. But it's like an undercurrent of all of this coverage. Kim Pointless says he used that song in his Halloween special. Wait, which song? I was thinking about Cloris Leachman in the Oogie Loves the... Oh, before she died. It was one of those ultra campy, so bad it's good kids movies. She played a woman obsessed with circles named Dottie. I will confess I have never seen that. I am more familiar with her work in the My Little Pony movie from the 80s. It's Cloris Leachman and Madeline Kahn together at last. Wait, do I have that right, James? Cloris Leachman and Madeline Kahn? Yeah, okay. For just a moment, I thought it might have been Carla from Cheers.
Oh, she's in it too.
Oh, she's in it too?
Yeah, they're all in it.
They're all in it. Great. It's cavalcade of stars. Kim Portley said, when did Paul Lynde come out? I'm not sure that he ever really talked about it. Like, I found one article that was like, he made no secret of his sexuality, and I'm like, I think he did, actually. Like, I can't find anything where he's actually discussing it. He co-starred with a bunch of comic folks in Joan Rivers' directorial feature debut, Rabbit Test. Oh, Hirschfeld also drew him in that one. Well, we've got lots of rabbits going on in this stream today. Reminds me of the Pansy Division song Negative Queen and the lyric, he thinks he's Oscar Wilde, but he's Paul Lynde. That is quite a comparison. I will say of Pansy Division. So Pansy Division, punk band, queer punk band from the, I guess from the 90s and still around, I think. Anyway, when I lived in San Francisco, I didn't even realize this, but I had friends in common with members of that band, and like went to a picnic with one of them. Had a whole picnic at one point in Dolores Park with one of the members of Pansy Division. Did not realize that I was sitting next to this guy, and like they opened for Green Day at one point. And I wish I had known because we could have talked about queer entertainment stuff. But oh well. Hello, Tomer. Welcome. You're just in time. We're about to start reading about Paul. Colorful and vivacious bachelor, says the Death Star. Yes. Colorful and vivacious bachelor. Hank says, My Little Pony and Money to Burn in the 80s. I suppose, like, that was one of those trends that missed me. Like, it was not a big part of my life. But I know that it was, like, here's the thing. It's like nothing in the 80s was a big part of my life because I was so out of the loop on like, my family just was not a part of pop culture in the 80s. Not consumers of pop culture that was current. consumers of pop culture from the 40s, maybe 40s and 50s, but my household, let's say, looked down upon anything that was happening any contemporary media. Okay. Oh no, Charles Ritz says Rabbit Test is one of the worst films ever. Well, you haven't seen Heart Beeps. Forgot to mention Quentin Crisp on my carry-on notes. Oh yes, of course, Quentin Crisp. And I saw somebody earlier in the chat mentioned Williams. What's his name? The British guy. Shoot, what's his name? Anyway, you know who I mean. The British guy. We'll talk about him in a minute. All right, where should we start? Where should we start? So I do want to just note this because it does sum up what Paul Lynde was known for. This is 1973. And there's big headline about some interesting TV special, The Forbidden Desert of the Danakil, or Danakil? I don't know. So fascinating TV show, and then also a little footnote, and also this thing. Kenneth Williams, that's his name. Thank you, Jillian. Jim D liked Rabbit Test. Deathstar says, my He-Man action figures rode my My Little Pony toys into battle against G.I. Joe and the Ninja Turtles. Great. That is the crossover that we all need. Ninja Turtles, I would say, that was the first actual pop culture that I did participate in. Ninja Turtles made a big impression on me as a kid. A bunch of muscular young men all living together. That was something about that. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Anyway, so Paul Lynde. Paul Lynde had a show for a little while after Bewitched was, around the time that Bewitched was ending. Apparently the story is that Elizabeth Montgomery and her husband, with whom she was in the process of splitting, were contracted to continue doing some shows for, I think it was Screen Gems at Columbia. And because their marriage was ending, they didn't want to continue making Bewitched, so they were like, how about this? How about we do a different show instead? And we'll make a show about Paul Lynde, because we love working with him, and he's great, and people love him, and he's funny. So they made the Paul Lynde Show, which was terrible, unfortunately. As you can see in this TV listing about it. The Paul Lynde Show. No nudes is good nudes. The subject of nudity on the stage and elsewhere becomes a public as well as private problem for Mr. Exasperation, Paul Lynde. I mean, that's exactly what he could have been called his entire career, Mr. Exasperation. Because he was that was always the character he was playing. Oh my God, what's going on? Paul Lynde's in this shouting spree. Paul Lynde's son-in-law finally lands a job as a member of the cast of a nude show that's scheduled to open in town, and Paul goes to extremes to prevent this opening night. And I love how unintentionally dirty that sounds. Prevent the opening night of the nude show. I am curious about what that was. Is it? What year was Hair? That was almost a decade earlier, right? Hair first, I don't know, opened on Broadway year. 68. Okay, so not actually that long ago. 5 years, but still. Still, I feel like 5 years is a long time for the topic of nude live theater to be timely. King Pointless says, Rabbit Test is a tricky position. Do we celebrate one of the few movies of its era due to being made by a woman, or admit it's terrible despite the nice merit behind it? That is tricky. Yeah, on one hand, I know what you mean. I was talking on my Twitch stream yesterday, I think, about queer film festivals in the 1990s. There were a lot of, so new queer cinema was going on, and it was very exciting, and lots of new stuff was happening. We were seeing experimental, not what you think of when you think of experimental film, like somebody staring longingly at a mountain for 3 hours, but different kinds of stories being told in the 90s. Unfortunately, a lot of it was not very good. So if you were like, oh, I need to support queer cinema, that meant sitting through a lot of not very good movies. So there was this problem where you're like, I want to support this. It's very boring, but it's important that it exists, because sometimes we'll get something good out of it, Desert Hearts. But a lot of it's not great, so what do we do? Anyway, so there was that crisis. I've never seen Rabbit Test, so I don't know exactly what the quality of it is. Okay. So now we're excited about Kenneth Williams. We'll do a search for Kenneth Williams too. How about that? We're gonna look through. Let me make a note to myself. I'm just gonna do a New York Times machine. Just gonna open a new search over here to remind me to do this later. This is often how I do my research. I'll like remind myself by opening a new tab, and then I'll have like 70 tabs open by the end of it. Kenneth Williams, matron, please. Oh dear. FBI agent was tracking radical link to hijacker. Ooh, that's not the Kenneth Williams we want. Mr. T says, I was a 90s kid, but we had lots of 80s cartoons on tapes. Yeah, the 90s kids got a lot of 80s leftovers. Pointless says they were brothers, Matt. Oh, actually hotter. about the Ninja Turtles. Were they? Oh yeah, they were brothers. They were brothers. I forgot about that. Mr. T says, remember Rose Petal Place, a ripoff of Strawberry Shortcake, but flower themed. 2 cartoon specials starring Marie Osmond. Zero memory of that. That's what Derek says. We're all Mr. Exasperation right now. Hopefully a little less. Hopefully a little less these days. Kim Pointless said, do you know when it became clear he was gay? Did friends of his talk about it after his death? That's a good question. I don't actually know. I haven't. So I've been doing more research actually on the subject of Bewitched about Dick Sargent, who played the second Darren, and was also on the show Down to Earth, which we'll talk about in a minute. So he came out in 91 because tabloids were threatening to out him against his wishes. And so I've dug up some actually interesting stuff about that. Ooh, we're going to do... All right, we're going to open another search. I'm going to open another reminder myself to search stuff about Dick Sargent. Oops. Times Machine. We want... So Dick Sargent played the second Darren on Bewitched after the first actor left. Had a big coming out, was the Grand Marshal in a Pride Parade that year. It was a big thing. Dick Sargent's real name, I'm not making this up, he was born with the name Dick Cox. That was his actual real name. Changed it to Dick Sargent. I don't know why. Anyway, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we've got a lot of chat here. Let me scroll, because I have lost my place. Tomer says, sad I missed that conversation. What films did you talk about? Oh, Tomer, so many. Gosh, now I'm trying to remember. There was definitely a discussion of The Fluffer, and, I always forget the name of it, the Mormon one. Latter-day Saints? Or maybe just Latter Days. Latter Days was the name of that one. Kiflam says, today you could just Patreon something you think you should support, but you can't stand to watch or read or do. Yeah. Speaking of which, support my Patreon, everybody. There's a link in the description, patreon.com/MattBaum. And I am very grateful to everybody who supports my Patreon and makes videos and podcasts and live streams like this possible. So big thanks to everyone who joins up there and gets some very special rewards. King Pointless says, open my email, consume my Kenneth Williams links. Did you send me a new one? Did you send me a new Kenneth Williams roundup? James Polk says, Lynde provided his voice in Hugo the Hippo. Oh, I don't know that one. Animated film distributed in America by perfume company Brute? What? I'm sorry. We're going to have to look this up right now. Hugo the Hippo. Distributed by Brute? Oh my lord. What is this? Okay. Hungarian animated film co-produced by Brute, a division of French perfume company Fabergé. Why? This is incredible. Why did a perfume company make an animated film about a hippo? Hold on. Hugo the Hippo. Wait, huh? Virtually nothing. Oh wait, here we go. Paul Lynde weird movies. That sums it up, doesn't it? I need a clip. I need a video clip. Okay, here we go. It's labeled fair use clip. It almost certainly is not. All right, let's turn down the music for just a second so we can watch this. What on earth? I'm going to get a copyright strike for showing this. Beautiful. Oh, it's actually... This... Oh my god, this is the most 70s thing I've ever seen. But where's... This image! Oh my god. Sure. Sure. Okay, this is... It's just for people who are stoned, right?
A planet made of cauliflower.
Yes, it is! Yes, it is!
All those strange fruits.
Oh, look at all those strange fruits. That's the title of this stream.
A tomato with revolving berries.
This is incredible. And I love how it cuts away from the kid every time he has a voice line so they don't have to animate his mouth. What on earth? It looks kind of like... The hippo looks kind of like a moomin. Yep. Great. Great. I'm so glad. James Polk, thank you so much for making me aware of this. I'm going to need to do a little bit more reading about Hugo the Hippo, the perfume company cartoon. What on earth? There's a documentary about Paul Lynde and his sexuality called Doozy, worth a look. All right, I'm going to... Paul Lynde... Make a note about that, so just have it sitting around for me to check out later. Oh, and Robert Reed, of course, the dad from the Brady Bunch, also wasn't out until he died from, AIDS-related complications, same year as Sargent. Oh, really? Was it the same year? Gosh. Death Star does not like The Fluffer. Such a garbage film. Rough. Honey Dragon says, what happens to these streams after they finish? I missed the last one, couldn't find it. Oh, I usually set them to unlisted because it's seldom that anyone wants to find them. And I also don't want them to come up in, like, recommendations because usually when people start watching, like, a live stream that has ended, they're like, oh, I don't want to watch any more of this. And it kind of breaks YouTube's algorithm brain. It's like, nobody wants anything from this channel. But you can always find links to them. Let me think. Yeah, on my Twitter, you can find, like, I'll tweet when I'm going live, and that link will still be active. It's just unlisted rather than publicly listed. Oh, Jim D recommends the gayest cartoon ever, Biker Mice from Mars. Yeah, oh my god. A lot of muscles in that one. Destar says, I need to eat mushrooms and watch this. You absolutely do. That seems like it's exactly what it is designed for. King Puma says, it's 6:30 in Australia. It's too early for me to do this. Sorry. I don't make the rules. You've got to do drugs and watch Hugo the Hippo now. Hirschfeld drew Lynde for Hugo. Oh, wow. If you look up Hirschfeld Hugo the Hippo in the image search, you show up a few lines down. Okay, hold on. Let's check that out. Where is he? Some very hideous art also for sale up at the top there. Is this him? Oh, here it is. Wow. I can't, this is so stylish. Oh, there he is. That's absolutely him right there. Yes. Oh my god. I just want to see the image. No, don't take me away. Oh my god. Stop it. Just show me the image. Look at this horrible, haunting image. Brute Productions is proud to introduce its first motion picture releases. Multiple releases. Glenda Jackson and George Segal in A Touch of Class. Harry Dean Stanton and Cliff Potts in Count Your Bullets. Elizabeth Taymor Lawrence Harvey in Blue Whitelaw and Night Watch. Raymond St. Jacques and Frida Payne in Book of Numbers, and Paul Lynde, Burl Ives, and Hugo in Hugo the Hippo. Now in production, Soul Survivor starring Susan something and Paul Miller. Hang Up starring William Elliott. Welcome to Arrow Beach starring Lawrence Harvey. This still does not answer for me the question, why was a perfume company making movies? Also, who is that on the far right? Because that is not a flattering depiction of whoever that lady is. I can't look away from that incredibly distressing hippo with the spiral eyes. Anyway, thank you for making me aware of this, because I had no idea this existed. What a nightmare. Natty says, Natty just making a live stream channel. An interesting idea, but also, like, these are all, like, sausage-making YouTube issues. Like, nobody would be subscribed to it when it starts, so nobody would know when I'm going live, because no one would see, and YouTube does not make any of these things easy. Mina says, I was looking at IMDb for the Saturday morning show Monster Squad from the 70s and drew a picture of a character in half drag. Seemed pretty out of place for the time. Wait, so a picture of a character in half drag from Monster Squad. King Pointless wants to get high together and watch Puff and stuff. I can't imagine a better partner for that activity than you. I do like that idea. You know, we've been talking about doing some new Patreon rewards, and among them having a classic movie watching party over on Discord, where the copyright issues would not be an issue, presumably, as far as I know. That might be a fun one. Like, a Puff and Stuff watch party would actually be super fun. So I am thinking about, like, revamping the Patreon tiers a little bit, and that's a really good idea. I have a list somewhere around here, and I don't know where, on my incredibly messy desk of possible new rewards. I'm just going to write that one down, because actually that does sound super fun. Get high and... getting high and watch Sid and Marty Krofft programs does sound like a very good time. Mr. T says, remember Quasi at the Quackadero? Nope. Psychedelic cartoon made by Sally Cruikshank, who worked for a lot of animated shorts for Sesame Street. I have no idea what that is. Sorry, I'm late. Evening, Matt. Hello, Dirty Uncle Owen. Glad to have you here. Hello. Yeah, Gershom says, Matt, with so many countless tabs open as you go down the research rabbit hole, I haven't related more to creator. I'm glad it's relatable. King Pointless says, is that Elizabeth Taylor in the middle? That's who it looks like, but I don't see her listed here. So I don't know. Oh, no, wait. This is right there. Elizabeth Taylor in Night Watch. I have no idea what that is. Why does it look like drugs was involved in the drawing if that's his natty? I mean, that's... You're probably not wrong. King Pointless says the hippo just watched Hugo the Hippo. That's why it has that look on its face. Looks like Joe Campbell's half-brother. He really does. He really does. Okay, so I'm sorry. I just need to look up Brute Productions. I know we're here to look at a lot of stuff, but Brute Productions, short-lived. You don't say. Short-lived a production company offshoot of Fabergé Cosmetics under George Barry. Barry began thinking about becoming involved in movie production when filmmaker Mike Frankovich asked Fabergé to make a mock advertisement for a scene in his film The Love Machine. Barry made an advertisement for a perfume, Xanadu. Jeez, really predicting flops of the 80s now. Sales of this shot up as a result of it being in the film. The company began in March 72. Cary Grant was on the board of directors. Roger Moore was an ambassador at large. Barry said in July 72, we're not in business just for Cary or Roger make the films they want. Diversification for Fabergé is strictly commercial. Initially announced they would make 5 features and 4 TV productions. Hugo the Hippo then being filmed. Night Watch with Elizabeth Taylor. Getting rid of Mr. Straker with Roger Moore. But did not make the TV productions, they just distributed them in America. Including The Whistling Wizard, a Bill Baird puppet show. Wow. So really, this was just a way for a perfume company to make ads for perfume by, like, making movies that featured their products? All right. Why not just pay existing movies? Whatever. Company had an early big success with A Touch of Class. I mean, not much of a success because I never heard of it. Hunter left. George Barry moved into producing with Whiffs. Performed less well at the box office. Suffered losses from 75 onwards. 2 TV movies, Sweet Hostage and Baby Maker. What was Baby Maker? Oh my god. Oh, reported in 81, the company lost $5.4 million, sold their into 17 films in 82 for an undisclosed amount to Turner. Entire library is owned by AT&T's Warner Brothers through Turner Entertainment Company. All right, cool. Wow. What a wild ride. So like when does it started in 72 and ended by 82. 10 years they produced just like a countless string of flops. His titles. I will, for now. They set out to try everything in the book. What happens next you won't find in any book. Starring Elliot Gould and Diane Keaton. Also Black Market Baby. The Class of Mrs. McMichael. These sound like fake movie titles from 30 Rock. Miracles Still Happen. The story of Julianne Kopecky. The story of Julianne Diller, sole survivor of a plane crash. Oh my lord. Miracles Still Happen. The story of a survivor of a plane crash. Jeez. Anyway, that's the story of Brute. How did we get down this rabbit hole? Who's responsible for this? I'm just gonna slide this over to this tab over here. Phew. Kroft Brothers. Oh yeah, Kroft Brothers refused to admit they got Puffin stuff named from drugs. They'll say it on their deathbeds. Yeah. She can't have needed the money. Why was she doing this? It's king pointless. Have you seen the work of James Somerton here on YouTube? Says Broken Root. It's wonderful content. No, I haven't. Tell me about that. Who's James Somerton? King Pointless says Roger Moore played a gay man in one Cuba Gooding Jr. movie. Sort of funny, but very homophobic. Whoops. Oh well. He was also in Spice World. Hank says that's how comic books started, is advertising for products kids would be interested in. That is an interesting take. Is that true? Is that really how comic books got started? Sylvester Stallone was hauling Brute in Over the Top. Oh, that's right. That's right. So that must be... So that would have been 5 years after they got rid of all their film stuff. And I guess they were like, all right, we'll throw in our lot with this other company, Cannon Films. They're a guaranteed hit. Nothing Cannon Film Group makes could ever flop. Cannon Film, obviously, a notorious disaster engine, makers of, oh gosh, so many good things. Obviously, Superman 4. What else? For some reason, I'm thinking of like their lesser known stuff, like Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. So I'm a big fan of this company because they made some like incredible Runaway Train, obviously one of their good ones. Weirdly, they made a good one by accident. Oh, The Apple, obviously. The Apple. They made like one of my absolute favorite movies ever. So anyway, I guess Brute started advertising in their movies instead. Almost all of which were major disasters. Oh, and the He-Man movie, Masters of the Universe. Yeah. Everybody chiming in with the Apple in the chat. Yes. Black Penny. Magic Apple, Mystery Apple. Oh my God, we got to watch that. Oh, absolutely. The more I think about this, the more I want to do this. Making Movie Watch Nights on Discord, a Patreon reward, so we can all just watch the Apple together. A Lurking Gru saw Superman 4 in theaters. How'd the audience like it? King Pointless says, it's been an hour. What are you doing? Get dancing. Yes. Oh, The Apple's such a good movie. Such a good, bad movie. All right. Who was I looking up here? Dick Sargent. Okay, we're going to look up some Dick Sargent news in a moment. And Kenneth Williams, we're going to look him up in a moment, too. What else we got? Let's see. Okay, so we got, getting back to Paul Lynde and Bewitched, his post-Bewitched career. So he was in this episode that involved nudity, which, sure, okay, great. There's a little article here about how he's giving up being a guest star and getting his own show. So Paul Lynde gives up the variety circuit. He's made more rounds than a milkman. Kind of a weird way to describe it, but sure, okay. We'll go with that. Oh, Mr. T-Bone says Blumhouse basically went the Canon model, but unlike Canon, they didn't violate their own budget rules and hire Stallone for $15 million. Yeah, so Blumhouse, that's a good example of someone who makes, I would say, pulpy movies, but smartly. Not spending crazy amounts of money on stuff that they shouldn't, and actually like paying attention to what audiences want. Let's see. So anyway, so we've got here Paul Lynde is foregoing all guest appearances until he completes the filming of his own show, probably in February. Whoops. Oh well. Didn't work out well for him, sadly. I was doing very well without a series. I think I'm enjoying the involvement I can have with my own show that I couldn't have as a guest. There's always a stigma if you fail. If the Paul Lynde show blah, blah, blah. It's the Paul Lynde show. If it fails, it's my fault. Harsh words. Harsh words. Mr. T-Bone says, if you make hundreds of low-budget movies, one is bound to be great just by law of averages. That was the Canon Film Group's model. And I wonder to what extent that's the Blumhouse model of like, well, we won't spend too much on this. And then if we get one hit, then great. Oh, my stars, Brian, thank you so much for the generous tips. I'm so grateful. It really means a lot that you are supporting what I do here so much. Thank you. Condiment day for me. Wait, what's a condiment day? Condiment day for me? Oh, doing some tip catch-up. I see. How dare you? I will allow puns at the channel, thanks because you're so generous with the tips. How about that? Tristan says, Matt, would you ever shave your head bald? I think you'd look good that way. What do you mean? I have lots of hair. I have lots and lots of hair. I was doing some experiments. Let's put it that way, with letting the hair grow out for a while, and that experiment has concluded. So I'm cutting my own. I guess we're doing a little side note into my hair styling now. I've been cutting my own hair for the last year. Haven't done it often, maybe like just a handful of times, but I'm doing it myself now. What do we think? How do I look, as Ed Koch once said? There you go. There's another timely reference to Ed Koch. Kids all love him. All right, start the music back up here. Oh, Flavio says, Matt, marry me. Oh, well, you get in line, Flavio. Was it Flavio? I'm sorry. I'm mispronouncing everyone's name. King Pointless says, Blumhouse films are a colossal range of quality. They have a box set now with both Get Out and Unfriended. Oh, I didn't know they did Get Out. They also did the Gem of the Holograms movie, so... Death Star's back. Death Star, hope the dog is doing well. Send me pictures of your dog, please. Mr. T-Bone says, New Line started as schlocky horror. They hit it big with Elm Street. Oh, then they could branch out from horror until they became respectable. Then Lord of the Rings made them a major player. Isn't that weird? It's so weird when someone starts out as like, oh, we're just going to do cheap stuff. And then like, whoops, we accidentally had a big hit. Oh yeah, Lazy Bacon says Billy Eichner's playing Paul Lynde in a biopic. I forgot about that. I think that's good casting. Like, who else would you cast to do Paul Lynde? Billy Eichner works. The same, like, Mr. Exasperation vibe between them. The new series is based on an unsuccessful Broadway show of 10 years ago, Howie, but Lynde's own brand of establishmentarianism comedy was forged on stage by Birdie. Why did they base a TV series on a failed Broadway musical? It's his 7th attempt at a show of his own. 6 other pilots didn't make. The closest it came was in the early 60s, set to star in a series only to have it scuttled. Harried father viewing his family in particular as brilliant but idle son-in-law apprehensively across the generation gap. When we start out each week as a premise, which you know will work, and 53 pages of dialogue, which you know no one is going to say. You can rehearse and block from that. By the time we film, every line has been thrown out and rewritten. Sounds like a great way to do a show. Now, I also want to call your attention to some of the other TV listings that are going on. Notably, over here, we've got News Weather, Petticoat Junction, Dick Van Dyke, Father Knows Best, and then Fortran for Morons, Geniuses, and Hobbits. I nearly fell out of my chair when I saw this. I was gathering these tabs up before the stream, and I saw this, and I was like, what on earth? What on earth is this? Yeah, just what on earth? So, this is 1972. I don't know who was watching Fortran for Morons, Geniuses, and Hobbits. This Channel 9 in St. Louis was apparently a PBS station, so I found another TV listing for it that indicated it was in black and white. That might actually be what that little dot means. Oh yeah, indicates program's not in color. It's a black and white program about Fortran at 6 p.m. What? Anyway, what I wouldn't give to find the tape of this. Yeah, Alerkin Gru says, Fortran, what? The computer language? King Pointless says we may never know what it was. I can't imagine it was saved. I did find a reference to it on the internets. And it was based on a book, apparently. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. It was based on a book. I guess it was like kind of the 70s version of the For Dummies series. Book about the programming language. Anyway, some other really intriguing titles on television that night. Obviously, I Dream of Jeannie, What's New Poodle Dog, very tempting. Man from U.N.C.L.E. This is really painting a portrait of a certain time on television, isn't it? Partridge Family. I saw Space Between Words, Diplomacy, and I thought it was Space Between Worlds, and I was like, oh, that sounds like an interesting sci-fi program. Nope. Surprise package starring Mitzi Gaynor and Yul Brynner. The reason this search came up for me is because I was searching Paul Lynde gay, and what it found was an article about Paul Lynde next to this hyphenated Mitzi Gaynor line. And then news, weather, sports. What do we got? We got 9 a.m. Watch Pebbles and Bam Bam and the Jetsons together. Pink Panther, the Hair Bear Bunch. Oh boy, Saturday morning? Yep, Saturday morning. Look at the Saturday morning cartoon lineup. We're starting at 7 a.m. with Bugs Bunny, Jerry Lewis cartoons. Then we got Deputy Dog, Scooby-Doo, Roadrunner, Corky's Colorama, Harlem Globetrotters, Funky Phantom, Jackson 5, Hair Bear Bunch. What a morning. And then at 11 p.m., Viewer's Viewpoint. That must have been scintillating. Who knows? Is that just somebody reading letters to the news station? Also, I do want to call out this ad for like a local St. Louis, I guess, dinner theater show. The greatest show in town. Gwen McEwen. Look at this, Gwen McEwen. See her Phyllis Diller impersonation. It's hilarious. We got some 70s cartoons here. Pogo. Gosh, Pogo's been going for a million years. And then I'm just glancing around to see if there's anything else interesting to look at. We got Promises at the St. Louis Theater. It's a 60s musical. Now You See 'Em, Now You Don't. No idea what that is. Plus Disney featurette. The Godfather playing at Cinema 4. Dean Martin and Brian Keith in Something Big. Not an adult film. But what a title. And these look good. Fear is power. You want your city? Fight for it. No one under 18 admitted. Now you've got my interest. Oh, David Rendon points out an ad for roller derby. Yeah. Oh, Death Star sending me Man-Wife just dropped off the Mission Hill DVD. I'll have it in the mail for you on Monday. Thank you, Death Star. I appreciate that. I've never seen Mission Hill, so this will be my first time watching. Grady Boyles is here. Hello, Grady. Welcome. We're just browsing some old newspapers like we do. I guess, who knows what this was? Walt Disney Productions, Now You See Him, Now You Don't. I guess it's an Invisible Man movie? The campus clown gets a flash in the lab and everything goes poof. The out-of-sight gang does a fast fade and the laughs appear like magic. It's the Invisible Vapor Caper of the Year, starring Kurt Russell. Great. Well, now we know. Now You See Him, Now You Don't. Not on Disney Plus, as far as I know. Nor is Last of the Red Hot Lovers, starring Alan Arkin. Ad for The Graduate here. Look at how he looks like I don't know. Usually when you see the ads, the posters for The Graduate, he's in a suit. But having this, this cloak here is really, it looks like a Edward Gorey drawing. Oh, Josie and the Pussycats is a lurking crew. That was my jam growing up. And King of Pointless says, how many of these shows were just Scooby-Doo ripoffs? Virtually all of them. Yeah, Grady says, doesn't every gay man of a certain age have a Phyllis Diller impersonation? I think that's probably true. Yeah, that certain age steadily counting up at this point. Lurking Gru said, Kurt Russell filmed the series that had the computer war... Oh, was it a whole series of computer war tennis shoes movies? Yeah, and King of Pointless says, you're absolutely right. If they made that 10 years later, it'd be sex comedy like Zapped with Scott Baio. Oof. Oof. More. This is just the bad movie stream this week. Also, just want to point this out. This ad that just says, cool. Cool. Excursion Steamboat Admiral. Mississippi River Day and Night Trips from Levee at foot of Washington Ave. Just cool. And then also this ad over here for Lon Chaney, Man of a Thousand Faces, and two of his most bizarre thrillers. The Unholy Three, his only all-talking picture made in 1931, and West of Zanzibar. A problematic film. Unlike the one appearing under some Woody Allen movies, the problematic page of the newspaper. Sorry, just went to the next page. A common mistake in zippers. Just some advice on sewing there. Aurora bathroom tissue for 29 cents. You could buy a lot of beautiful Goose Creek. And some hiking recommendations from the 1970s. All right, I think we're... Wait, is this a Ren Fair ad down here? I'm honestly not sure. So quench your thirst, eat till you burst, chicken special at the Flaming Pit. No, I think it's just a Ren Fair looking art in the ad. But Henry VIII Restaurant, dine with us and ride our free bus to and from the opera. What? Okay. Free bus to and from the opera to the Henry VIII Restaurant. Hot seafood appetizer with each entree. Our own renowned Londonderry salad, prime rib of beef roasted in rock salt with Yorkshire pudding and homemade desserts at the Red Carpet Inn. Wait, is it the Red Carpet Inn or the Henry VIII Restaurant with ample free parking? So you go to the inn, eat at the restaurant, take the free bus to the opera, and then comes back? I don't know. Well, I think that'll just about do it for this newspaper. Just some bizarre... This is painting a bizarre portrait of life in St. Louis in 1973. Oh, pardon me, 72. Lurky Goose says, down with zippers. Oh, gotta put that on a shirt. I am, by the way, I don't know if y'all saw... BT Dubs, in case you weren't aware, I have some t-shirts for sale based on some historical queer history. You know, historical history. If you head over to my TeePublic store, and let's see. So I made some two t-shirt designs based on old historical queer protest signs. And gosh, what's the best thing to search for here to find these? So two designs. Oh, that don't come up when you search for them. Where? Nope, doesn't come up there. That's interesting. Let's try just searching my name. There we go. If you search my name in TeePublic, you can find my store. So Thank God I'm Queer, a sign, a protest sign that would appear in the 1970s and 80s, often in San Francisco and New York. So I've got that design up on the store, and also a much more catchy slogan, I think, honk if you heart sodomy, based on a real protest sign that was unfurled after the Supreme Court ruled on in Bowers v. Hardwick. There was the case that allowed states to criminalize sodomy. That was a real protest sign that was unfurled outside the Supreme Court, or thereabouts. So those two t-shirts now available at my store. Proceeds are going to GLAAD Law, which is a legal organization that defends queer equality. So yeah, there you go. And then I found some other folks who are doing vintage gay designs. Here's an ad for Vintage Philly Bar, the Cell Block, Continental Baths. Obviously, we looked that up 2 weeks ago on the stream when we were researching bathhouses, and Philadelphia Gay News. Philadelphia Gay News? I feel like they're still around. I'm pretty sure they're still around. Anyway, so head over to my TeePublic store if you'd like any of those designs. Based on some of the stuff that we uncovered in our... Ooh, go away. based on some of the stuff that we uncovered in our research streams just like these. So I'm always keeping my eyes out for stuff that might look good on a t-shirt. So if you happen to see anything scroll on by that you think might look good on a very gay t-shirt, definitely flag it for me. All right, looking at some more show stuff, some more Paul Lynde's show stuff. Here's another report on his sitcom, On the Town. Crispy, chilly, sunny noontime on a winter's day. The first evidence of what I had come to behold was a fire bucket. On it were the words, "The Paul Lynde Show." I've been a Paul Lynde booster for many years. Proceeded interior, there say Paul Lynde, there sat, typo, at a long table, script in hand. Up leapt Paul and his co-star Elizabeth Allen, not Alien, who I had known since she was a Glee girl for Jackie Gleason. "I can't get close to you," she said, getting close to me. "I'm loaded with germs," she coughed convincingly. "Everybody had pneumonia. had it, or was going to have it, or was afraid of having it. Paul himself was snug in a sweater and hoped to see my fellow Ohioan co-star Beach Bingo in a happy frame of mind. Now that his own ABC show was winding up its first 13 weeks, he's obviously worried and nervous. I guess everyone had pneumonia while they were shooting? That's awful. This is the hardest work I've ever done in my life. Film stars don't know how easy they have it. Teleprompters I can't use. I've never been able to do it. Lucy," that was Lucille Ball, of course, "can do it. She taught Carol Burnett. Now neither one will tell anybody else." Oh, the dirty little secret of Lucy and Carol. Mr. T-Bone says, "When is the alcoholic soup t-shirt coming?" So I got to go back into the archives because I can't find it. I can't remember what the name of that restaurant was. So I got to go like digging through my archived live streams because I've forgotten the name of the alcoholic soup restaurant that we found like a month or two ago. Oh, Death Star got a Femboy Hooters shirt from T-Public. That's not bad. They can call me Helium Heels for nothing. Yikes. James Somerton's essay, "Making It Big, the Story of Gay Adult Film," is right up your alley. I think you'd appreciate it. Ooh, that does sound good. Making It Big, the History of Gay Adult Film. Tomer says, "Philadelphia Gay News has an interesting history. I wrote a bit on its founder for an essay." I met him briefly. Now I can't remember his name. Founder of Philadelphia Gay News. It was at a gay journalism conference. A fascinating and very vocal man. Someone who is happy to give you a piece of his mind. Which I say is a good thing, because obviously, particularly around this time, that was necessary. Paul Lynde had opportunities to do TV series. Lucille counseled him to do something of a family story, something that could be a lasting series. "You're at least going to come out of it rich," Lucille said. Well, if it hits. His dog, Harry McAfee, an 11-year-old pup of the Danny... Oh, he had a pup. He had a dog named Harry McAfee. That was the name of his character in Bye Bye Birdie. It was the thing that made him a household name. When asked what the dog looked like, Paul replied that he looked like the sons of famous Hollywood actor. His head is too large for his body. Paul was so unlike the Paul Lynde on Hollywood squares that I mentioned his concern. He would be taking a vacation somewhere soon, but he wouldn't be long away from the squares. "I'm going to the Springs and revitalize myself in the sun. The squares have been good for me." I wonder if that means Palm Springs. Oh, King of Pointless, thank you so much for the tip. Mind if we look on stream at the Kenneth Williams email I sent before I do? I'd love to see what you think of the content. All right, let's take a look. Let's see, Kenneth Williams. Did you send it? Did you just send it, or was the one? Okay, yes, there it is, I think. Right. Grady says, "What I really want is a good Paul Lynde impression, that voice." I have a story about someone who does Paul Lynde impressions, which I will share with you in a moment. All right, so let's look at... So King of Pointless did send me some some Paul Lynde, some Kenneth Williams stuff. So Kenneth Williams was... I don't think it's fair. I was going to call him the British version of Paul Lynde. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's accurate. Kenneth Williams was a dandy British man in, I'd say 50s, 60s, around then, 50s, 60s, 70s. Very fancy, very upper crust, and quite homosexual. Appeared in a lot of the Carry On movies. If you think of Stephen Fry today, kind of like a Stephen Fry vibe. But anyway, so King Pointless did send me a whole bunch of clips, so let's check out a couple of them. It's going to take me a moment to open those up, though, because they're in a different I've got them under a different profile because I don't want to live stream. I don't want to live stream my actual Google account. On the off chance that, like, I don't know, I've got passwords that appear or something like that. Oh no, I have to sign in to view it. Oh boy. All right, let's see what we got. I understand, wish to proceed. Here we go. Oh, so this is a whole biopic about Kenneth Williams, which, I mean, this is the worst thing I could have clicked on because it's not actually him. So let's try a different one. Let's click on a different one over here. Let's see. We got... here we go. Here we go. Clip of Carry On Doctor. So the Carry On films... Carry On films were a series of kind of bawdy, randy movies with some very goofy, burlesque comedy, like kind of the Muppets, but a little more adult. So hopefully this doesn't give me a copyright strike. Let's see. Skip trial. So this will kind of give you a sense of the kind of humor that we're looking at. Grady says, "Who was it that played Oscar Wilde?" Oh, that was Stephen Fry. Oh, and you like my mustache. Thank you very much. Yeah, King Pointless says, Kenneth Williams was the Kenneth Williams of 50s to 80s England. There's no one really to compare him to. Very camp and very effective. So I love that joke. And you can kind of see what I mean by, like, Muppety, but a little more adult. So, like, just this silly, stupid wordplay, and this, like, and you can certainly get a portrait of what Kenneth Williams, the person, or the kind of character that he played was like, this sort of, like, nervous bumbler, I guess, who's being menaced by this poor woman. I don't know why I say poor woman. She's doing just fine. King Pointless says, think about, how depressed Williams was behind the scenes. This was, a rough time to be a queer actor, or a queer person in show business, because obviously he couldn't really talk about his real life. So anyway, here we go.
Kiss me, Kenneth. Send me. You don't know what agony it's.
So anyway, so this seduction continues here until everybody anyway, so there you go. That's the kind of movie. And Kenneth Williams himself was like a very academic and learned kind of person. Like, he preferred smart comedy, but sadly he kept like getting cast in these roles that were you might think of them as I don't know, not the most cerebral. Yeah, and of course, Frankie Howard, another closeted actor in that role. Jillian says, John Inman, I watched Are You Being Served with my parents every week and was inexplicably obsessed with and drawn to his character. Oh, it's Hattie Jacques. That's her name. I actually don't know if that's how you say. Did she pronounce it Hattie Jacques, the actress in that film, or is it, I don't know, Hattie Jacques? Hattie Jacques is such a that can't possibly be right. I don't think she pronounced it that way. Anyway, so just a little dispatch, I guess, in this article from the Paul Lynde show set. I can't stop looking at this like editorial cartoon here about food prices and inflation. I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be about. I guess food prices are causing inflation? I don't know. Inflation's getting bigger? It's some sort of like... This is one of those cartoons that I'm like... Okay, the hands and feet on this character are drawn so detailed. It makes me wonder about the predilections and interests of the cartoonist. Like, all right, you're doing political cartoons, but you really sure do pay a lot of attention to men's hands and feet. So, what are your real interests? Horace, or whatever your name is. All right, anything else of interest going on here? Oh, Designing Woman joins the Navy. So take a little quick glance at that outlet. Also, the Shoe Bazaar has slashed prices for the menfolk. What is this about? Designing Woman joins the Navy. Distinctly, this waves turns to show drama on the high seas. Series of tests determine the seaworthiness of a new ship design. Oh. Oh, under the watchful eyes of 26-year-old Susan Bales, Navy researchers record and analyze every movement. Susan Bales admits hers is not an everyday job, but rather a fascinating follow-up to her preliminary work as a computer science specialist. Key figure of the computation business, Susie, is a logical one to take her turn in directing the tests and is here when she steps from the routine to the spectacular. So, like, on one hand, this is cool. Like, here's an article about a person who is a woman who's doing some very interesting scientific work, but to be called designing woman, like in the headline, being like, oh my God. And I just noticed this is written by the women's editor, by Helen Hennessy, the women's editor. Okay. And to call her Susie, like, okay, if this was an article about a man who was designing ships, he would be identified by his last name. Instead of, this, not that Susie's a slur or anything like that, but I don't know. And there it is. Susie was born in the Navy atmosphere of San Diego. Graduation, blah, blah, blah. Studied math. Did well in math in high school. Picked up computer experience, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Background, metaphysicist requirement. Like, she had to work so hard to be where she is. Oh my God. The way it ends. This gal with a job intriguing enough to create envy in the hearts of rabid women's lib devotees seems to enjoy equally both sides of the coin, career and marriage. How about that? This position, on her first day, she worked with Nathan K. Bales, a fellow physicist, lunched together, continued to work together, sharing common interests, led to their marriage in 1970. Hobbies range from lapidary to macrame, with a liberal sprinkling of cooking and music. They try to hand a tie-dyeing velvet, from which they plan to make a set of throw pillows. Oh my God, it's the most 70s paragraph I've ever read. Oh. This is like a King of Pointless. You're absolutely right. It's like a parody of 70s sexism with 70s fashion thrown in there. Amazing. Anyway, so that's the story of Susie. Proper tools make a good workman. Or woman. Anyway. I'm sorry, I just saw this headline. Dogs flunk out on influenza. Oh no. Flu is the last of the unconquered virus diseases. Oh, drugs flunk out on influenza. I thought it said dogs flunk out. And I was like, what is this article about dogs and influenza? I'm waiting for it to get to the dog part. Nope. Convenience for Fayette Bank customers. Pinkies announces biggest everyday chicken value in Uniontown. Really thought that almost said Urinetown. What movies do we have? What's playing at the theater? We got John Voight and Burt Reynolds in Deliverance. If you need a real knee slapper of a comedy. At the Manos Theater, we've got Hell Upside Down, The Poseidon Adventure. The State Theater, it's Snowball Express. Starlight Drive-In's got The New Centurions, and the Comet Drive-In has The Graduate. Again, look at how haunting this image is of this, like, I know he's supposed to be a graduate there, and like in a gown, like a graduating gown, but it just looks like a ghost. Yeah, Victoria says, breaking news, woman manages to have both job and fulfilling life. Oh, and Natty says, did you see Philosophy Tube came out as trans today? I did. What delightful news. I'm so happy that she was happy to share that with us. I'm a big fan of, oh dear, is it Abigail? Abigail. I'm a big fan of Abigail's work, and so very happy to see that announcement. She looks quite happy. King of Pointless says, but I bet she has a hole in her heart a career can't solve. She just needs a man to fill it. Yeah. Computer science started out with lots of... Oh, that's a good point, Mr. T-Bone. Computer science started out with a lot of women in the field. In the late 80s, a lot of small companies started by frat boys at big, started hiring, like... frat boys. And so gradually, like... Oh, I can't remember her name. It was Grace something. She was a... What is that? Jason Grace Nakamura, not the character from the Gabriel Knight games. Dr. Grace something, famous computer scientist in the Navy, I believe, who pioneered a lot of what we still use in computers today. Computer science pioneer Grace Hopper. Yes. She was the person who I believe. Now I don't know if the story is true, or if this is just like a good story that we tell because it's a fun story. She's the person who named mistakes in computer programming bugs, or when something goes wrong in a computer, a bug, because there was an actual literal bug inside a machine, and so she just started using that. That was causing problems, and so she just started using that as slang. Let me see if that's actually true. Grace Hopper bugs. According to National Geographic, in 1947, September 9th, 1947, a team of computer scientists and engineers reported the world's first computer bug. A bug is a flaw or glitch in a system. Thomas Edison reported bugs in his designs in the early 1800s, but this was the first bug identified in a computer. Today, software bugs can blah, 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 blah. This bug was literally a bug. First actual case of bug being found, one of the team members wrote in the logbook. It was a trapped moth, disrupted the electronics. Oh, among the team who reported it was Grace Hopper. She's often given credit for reporting the bug, but it's not true. She was, however, the person who likely made the incident famous. Well, now we know the truth. Now he says, I'm very glad to have seen it being trans myself. Yeah, it's real nice news. Oh, and of course, Ada Lovelace, Grady says, yes, indeed. Ada Lovelace, another really famous woman in computer science. And Alan Turing, a queer person. A gay man helped kickstart the whole computer thing to begin with. Yup. King Point says it looks like Estelle Getty. Kind of does. Oh, wow. Mr. T-Bone says, Grace Hopper, the company I work for, is an intern program for young women named after her. Huh. King Pointless says, wasn't that the plot of Brazil? It is kind of how Brazil starts, yeah. As Margot Channing said, funny business, a woman's career. The things you'll drop on your way up the ladder so you can move faster. You forget you'll need them again when you go back to being a woman. Well, okay. I mean, I guess that's a way to look at it. All right, what else have we got here for Paul Lynde? Oh, yeah, I like this article because it seems like a backhanded compliment. Life work of a great artist examined. But not Paul. It's about Leonardo. And then again, we have like, oh yeah, and also this other thing. And it's such like a mean review. Howie's inheritance. Fans who haven't tired of father-in-law Paul's efforts to get his daughter and her husband. Fans who haven't tired. I guess, insinuating that like, who's still watching this show? We'll enjoy this installment of the never-ending battle. Son-in-law Howie comes into a substantial inheritance from a distant uncle. His principles keep him from taking it at first. Regulars Ann Mira and Jerry Stiller, Ben Stiller's dad, and George Costanza's dad on Seinfeld, also get into the picture, and Paul Lynde's jittery delivery earns laughs. So mean. Paul's campaign for president. Oh, here's another episode of the Paul Lynde Show involving something nude. Paul's campaign for presidency of the City Bar Association on a public decency platform is imperiled when a bar owner buys a nude portrait of his daughter, Barbara. Again, with the nudity on this show, what was the deal with that? What else have we got on TV? Adam 12, Sonny and Cher, Apart from the Crowd, mystery movie, Royal Gala variety performance in the presence of Her Majesty the Queen with Liza Minnelli and Lily Tomlin. Oh my God, that sounds great. Let's see. Anything else of interest here? What do we got? British Newsman and KGLO. All right. Slow news day. Oh, we're also on page like 68 of the news. So no major headlines going on here. Network specials planned with Sierra Club Aid. Oh, Joe Lasco says the stream is very comforting and calming, like having an interesting friend in the room carry the conversation while I make coffee. So I have to know where I can find past streams now to recommend to friends. Thank you, Joe. I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. And if you're enjoying the chill stream here on YouTube, definitely pop over to my Twitch channel. Let me pop that up. I'll pop the URL up on screen here if I can remember how to do that. There we go. Boop. There it is. Twitch.tv/MattBaum. You can subscribe to me over there. I do streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. We go for a couple of hours just chatting, playing a little Stardew Valley, talking about whatever's queer, whatever's fun, and, the day's news or whatever. We talked about gay bars, queer bars on the last stream yesterday. Had a lot of interesting reports from people about like the queer bars in their neighborhood and what's open and what's closed. There's a place around the corner from us called Cece's that I love. I love this bar. They have the best night. They have like fetish night once a month. That is such a fun, sexy time. And I've been missing it so much. They're opening this coming Thursday. They're reopening on Thursday. And I'm like, seems a little early. Like I want it to reopen. I want it to be back open. I want things to go back to normal. Seems a little early to be doing it is the thing. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm very happy that it's going to be back up and running, but I'm not going to be going. I'm like last in line to get the vaccine because I'm not at risk in any way. I don't deal with people who are vulnerable. I work from home. I'm young enough. I'm only 20 years old. No, I'm young enough that I am not like particularly at risk. So it's going to be a while before I feel comfortable going out. Anyway, so that was all to say. Come join us over on my other Twitch channel over here, twitch.tv/MattBaum. All right, jumping back over to the news because I want to look at this pickle picture. King Pointless says, "Did Glad nominate you for the Twitch stream?" Yeah, I wish. That's maybe next year. Oh no, are you having some bandwidth issues? It looks like I have... So YouTube is reporting excellent connection. Let's see. Let me check the stream health over here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like there was a brief 2-minute error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Yeah, we had some dropped frames. I don't know what that could be from. Let me just double check a few things. Nope, I don't have my Backblaze isn't going. Yeah, so it should be working now. Stream looks healthy now, but there was like a brief 2-minute little glitch where it wasn't getting anything. So we should be okay now. Trig says, do old streams disappear? I want to rewatch the Bathhouse one because I caught only the end of it, but I couldn't find it. They do. I do set them to unlisted because leaving them up kind of screws up the YouTube algorithm. But if you go back to my YouTube channel, nope. If you go back to my Twitter profile and check the go live notifications, those links still do work. So you can get to them. You can get to them that way. And I don't know. Maybe I'll do a playlist of past live streams because very few people actually want them. So I tend not to put them front and center. But if you guys want to watch the old live streams, then maybe I'll do a playlist to make them available. I'm gonna make myself a note to remember that. Oh my god, I wrote myself a note to remember something. Here it is. I wrote myself a note to remember something and then lost it and then found it again. And the thing that I wrote myself the note to remember says, "Get high and watch Croft stuff." But that was going to be a Patreon reward, a potential Patreon reward. Live stream playlist, so folks can find them again. Ugh. Kim Pointless says, any 20-year-olds in chat? Do any of you even know who Paul Lynde is? Victoria's 21, but yes. Natty is 22. James is 26, but yes. Though not in an intimate way. King Pointless is 24. Okay. All right. We got a lot of youngsters here. King Pointless says, I grew up watching repeats, which I believe is true of Matt too. Of quite a vintage, I'll say. Natty says, I do want them. GQ says, I'd watch old live streams. All right. I will find a good way to make those available for y'all. So anyway, the thing that I wanted to take a closer look at here, two things. One was this picture of two people in pickle costumes for some reason. Lucy Onaz and Lucille Ball play pickles in a television commercial on Here's Lucy. All right. No more context needed for that. And also, man trains insects for TV. Donaldson trained tarantulas can be seen responding to strict script requirements on NBC's Circle of Fear. A woman frightened by a flock of invertebrate creatures. No, thank you. I will not be watching that program. All right, looks like that's about it for interesting TV news from 1972. Not really into this Vinosol vinyl steel siding ad. Oh, and who's this? Guy Lombardo will host his annual New Year's Eve show. Good to know. Thanks for the warning. Oh my god, I just saw down here. So this big thing about Guy Lombardo hosting a New Year's Eve thing, and then down in the corner, an alternative to Lombardo. If you're just not into it. New blood revives blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, great, yeah. Celebrate the new year with blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, so now this article, funniest man is sad. Behind the doors of his Pierre Hotel Suite overlooking Central Park sits 49-year-old Paul Lynde in the familiar Hollywood Square. He's wearing a flowing sheer ivory caftan with only tight briefs underneath. What a portrait. King Pointless says, Matt, you're a queer elder. How dare you? Elder. All right. How do I ban someone from chat? Not really. Solid gold Gucci necklaces drip from his neck. Except for thongs, his feet are bare and obviously pedicured. Okay, so I was talking earlier about how do you code somebody, how do you talk about someone as queer without actually saying that? That's how you do it. Paul Lynde is smoking nervously near a half-finished bottle of vodka, and from a mouth trained to create a toothy smile, which is his signature, he is saying, I'm just having a little fling in New York. Lynde, just under 6 feet tall, is from Mount Vernon, Ohio. His father, who described as Midwestern bourgeois, was a neighborhood butcher, but I always referred to him as a cattle surgeon. When Lynde announced in high school that he was going to act rather than deal in meats, there was a family war. I sort of misled my dad, says Lynde. My father took it for granted that I'd be at his side because I was a good salesman, and anything he wanted unloaded, I could unload. But the only meat I ever wanted to sell was myself. All right, good night, everybody. That'll do it for me. Woof. Oh. Lynde, who now makes $500,000 a year from television alone. Oh, boy. Oh, and Brian, thank you for the tip. Look at this. You are just so generous. And we've got another beautiful pear animation here. Look at that guy go. Brian, I'm so glad that you're enjoying the stream and that you're supporting what I'm doing here. Thank you so much. Oh, my stars. Oh, Trig says Hollywood Square? What does that mean? I noticed the title of a panel show. Didn't know it meant something. Oh, I mean, it really just means he was the center square from Hollywood Squares. But I think they're trying to make a little pun there, maybe? Square as in, like, he's kind of a nerd? I don't know if that's actually the pun they're trying to make, because it doesn't really fit there. Paul Lynde, the familiar Hollywood Square. Like, someone who's square is unhip and uncool. I don't know if that's what they're trying to say. Or just, like, he's famous for Hollywood Squares. Kim Pointless says, do we write this article as a parody of Lynde's innuendo? It does kind of feel that way. Who is Martin Christie? Was Martin Christie family? Different Martin Christie, let's assume. Martin Christie is a world leader in the field of fine chocolate and fine cacao tasting. Probably a different person. Journalist? 75, so it might be hard to find anything about this person. And this is in the Newport News, Virginia Daily News, Daily Press. Oh my goodness. Oh, different person, attempted murder. Person named Christy Martin. The remarkable life and near death of boxer Christy Martin. Totally unrelated. Apparently this is someone who someone tried to have killed. Different person.
Wait, Paul Lynde tried to have them killed?
No. This is a boxer in at some point. I'm getting way too distracted by this. Martin Christie, television reporter, prizefighter Christy Martin. I don't want Christy Martin, so I'm going to say not Christy Martin. It's still giving me Christy Martin stuff. I don't know. Yeah, find a grave, maybe? Yeah. Let's see. Oh my goodness. We're going somewhere with this article. I became known as the school's silly goose, he grins. It was a form of acceptance I preferred to rejection. Apparently there's a girl named Marilyn, please don't ask her full name, with whom he was totally smitten. He's sure he didn't take him seriously. during their high school years, but he pursued her relentlessly. All right, there's a typo in this sentence that's really throwing me. So I believe what this sentence is supposed to say is he's sure she didn't take him seriously. But the S from the she is missing. So now it's been masculinized. He's sure he didn't take him seriously. And this really makes me wonder if the girl called Marilyn, with whom Paul Lynde was smitten, was in fact a Martin. Wait a minute. The guy who wrote this article is named Martin. I wonder what's going on with this paragraph here. I wooed her by being funny, says Lynde. I was on all the time. Ultimately, I knew I wasn't making any ground with her. My obsession with her became very intense. You know something? I'm never allowed any other woman to enter my life. King Pointless says, write a letter to this author's gravesite to let them know to correct this. Lynde was voted 1975's Funniest Man of the Year by the American Academy of Humor. It's the most ironic title for an organization I've ever heard. An Academy of Humor. I mean, I know that there's certainly a science and study of what is of comedy, but I don't know. It just seems like the most dry and boring thing to be like the American Academy of Humor. Anyway. Eventually went to her wedding, joked his way through the elaborate reception, then went home and fell into a crying jag. I started crying, couldn't stop. I suppose it was an enormous release I'd needed for a long, long time. Woof. Oh my goodness, this article's going somewhere. Recently, Lynde went to Oak Park, a suburb of Chicago, to visit the love of his life, her husband, who's a furniture dealer, and their children. I'm happy that she's happy, he says, but I know I'll probably never marry anyone else. What qualities does he find attractive in women? The ability to laugh is terribly important. Oh, how I despise small talk. Silence is preferable to conversations that go nowhere. I'm magnetized by Mediterranean types. The woman I wanted to marry is Greek. Women with that kind of background know how to make a man feel masculine because they're everlastingly feminine. I would have loved to raise a child, maybe two, instead of a 13-year-old Harry, a dandy Dinmont from Scotland. But oh, I'm depressed. That darling creature's growing old before my eyes. Listen, I'm taking care of Harry royally. Why, I'd put him on a plane in Los Angeles and he'd fly to Kansas City. And I was too old to be tranquilized for the flight. I would love to get Harry to come on tour with me. Wouldn't it be exciting for him to come on stage and say hello? Why not become a single parent? The suggestion makes him nervous. He puffs on the cigarette. He explains that being a celebrity means you aren't anonymous and it's possible to do wonderful things that people take for granted. Things like going to the movies or to the beach. A child would suffer under such conditions. I'm really not a private person. I have a very high recognition factor. Some women, especially the ones in Miami, are very demonstrative. Why, they pick up their long skirts and run toward me. And oh, they grab. People keep their distance from movie stars because there's an element of awe. But see, I visit their homes via that miracle called television. They feel I belong to them. Seldom gives party on approaching 50. Boo, 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 boo. He compensates for the lack of love in his life by seeking adulation from his audiences. What a profile. And then it ends with this ad that says, attention all hairdressers. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Deja Voodoo is back. I needed to cook. Oh, what did you make, Deja Voodoo? What's for dinner? Grady says Greek, huh? I bet. Oh boy. See if there are any old episodes of Biography Channel, mysteries or scandals about Paul Lynde. Those might have interviews with his contemporaries you could use. They might indeed. All right, what else? We got here. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on a second. What's going on in Ann Lander's column off to the side? Okay, a couple interesting things going on here about gender. Dear Ann Landers, I was very surprised when you raised the question, why would anyone give a boy a tea set? A tea set isn't going to hurt a boy or create a sexual identity crisis. It's the attitude of parents that does the damage. In our neighborhood, boys as well as girls have tea sets. They enjoy using them for pretending, as well as serving fruit juice and cookies to their playmates. Why not? Cookies, cops, robbers, soldiers, sailors, explorers, and doctors all eat, don't they? Ann Landers responds, You have a point on the chow sets or mess kits, but don't you agree tea set sounds a bit dainty? Okay, Anne. Oh, and Brian, thank you for the tip again with the laughing pear. I love all these pears. Yeah, Natty draws attention to the carpet installed. There's Pauline innuendo all over this page. And then the next letter. Do you have room for one more letter commenting on the daughter who found pictures of her late father in pornographic poses? I agree there's something perverse in this, but give us a break, Anne. I am one of the tens of thousands of bisexuals in this country. For the most part, we move about freely, contributing much to the society that would condemn us if they saw the flip side. Most people see me as a husband, father, and businessman. I'm damned good at all three. My business demands that I travel. At least once a week, my homosexual lover meets me. We usually go out for drinks, dinner, and dancing at one of the gay bars you'll find in big cities. We didn't ask to be this way, but we are, and we make do. I'm never embarrassed my family, and I never will because they won't know. I have no secret collection of clothes, photos, or address books. All my gay connections are stored in my head. For years, your column has been a forum for shedding light on verboten subjects. Please don't lump us together in severe personality disorder category, another label we don't need. From the Ramada Kid. Gosh! Wow. Okay, Anne. So Ann Lander says, a married man who meets his homosexual lover every week is not a normal male in my book. I don't like labels either, but when people ask me what is wrong with men who behave like that, I must say they are victims of severe personality disorder. Ann Landers. How dare you? And gosh, this way that it ends. Do you feel awkward, self-conscious, lonely? Welcome to the club. There's help for you in Ann Lander's booklet, The Key to Popularity. Send 50 cents in coin with your request in a long-stamped, self-addressed envelope. What is the key to popularity, Ann Landers? Is it biphobia? Is that your advice? Gee whiz. Anyway, attention all hairdressers. Are you tired of working for 50%, not having the best products to work with? You can make 60% in your gross plus 50% in retail. You Redken products. Oh my god. Oh my god. And body dysmorphia ad right over here. Very nice. And here we have a slightly racist headline making fun of Rita Moreno's accent. So, 1975, everybody, 1975. And then ad for the Day of the Locust. It happened in Hollywood, but it could have happened in hell. Look, I'm not going to say that's a bad slogan for a film. Cocky communist explore Saigon. All right. Wouldn't say no to a cocky communist. Sorry, and this headline down here. There's nothing really funny about these. I just think, I don't know, they make me laugh for some reason. Beef sale. Yeah, Trig said Ann Landers had what qualifications to be giving advice? Just a lot of opinions, apparently. Just a lot of opinions. And you know what? I actually want to go back to that Ann Landers thing for just a second, because the person said, do you have room for another ad? Also, we never got back to that very arresting image from the first paragraph. Do you have room for one more letter commenting on the daughter who found pictures of her late father in pornographic poses? I'm sorry, what? What daughter who found pictures of her late father in pornographic poses? Okay, May of 1975. Let's see what we can find. Ann Landers, 1975. Ann Landers, 1975. Daughter, pornographic. And hopefully I'm not going to get some kind of YouTube strike for this. Nothing, apparently. Ann Landers' daughter pornographic turns up no search results. Let's try expanding that a little. Okay, Grand Prairie Daily News has something from the 70s. Not related. It's about some poor woman named Lou Ann Landers. Luann's birthday filled with firsts. I bet it is. Also, I thought it said fists at first. Poor Luann. What, her first train ride, her first time outside the country, going to the Monterey Technological Institute in Mexico. After arrival, they crammed their hours with sightseeing trips. I'm sure that's not all they crammed. What? Oh, stop it. Luann has written that she has a grand view of the mountains of her third-floor room. Is this literally just a newspaper article about some local woman who went on a trip to Mexico? Privilege of choosing is enrolled in following classes: Mexican folk songs and folk dancing, Mexican history, and conversational Spanish. Yep, it's just a letter about what Luann Landers is doing on her trip to Mexico. Need news correspondent. Clearly, they're just transcribing letters from local residents. All right, but what of the letter from the daughter who found photos of her father? I guess we may never... Ann Landers' daughter... Oh, interesting. Did this, like, take off the pornographic from the search? Ann Landers' daughter. We're going to restrict it to 1975. And we'll add photos to that. Not really seeing anything that looks related. Photographs. All right, let's see if this turns up anything. Oh, no E in Ann. That's what's doing it, Mr. T-Bone. Thank you. That's what done it. Okay. This letter. I refuse to start my letter by addressing you as Dear Ann Landers. You are not dear to me. In fact, I think you must be either a nut or a communist. Great. Oh, Shaleblade says, what's the illustration at the bottom left? I mentioned that at the start, but I should probably just reintroduce my my artwork here. So after years of writing about the furry community and going to conventions and being, I don't know, a public furry ally, let's say, I finally had some professional furry art commissioned. This is a portrait of me, my bunny character, hanging out and just having a good time. So, yeah, Orlando Fox, fantastic furry artist, did a little portrait of me. You can see more of this character over on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/MattBaum. Unveiled it over there, where we also have newly unveiled emotes. So now we have bunny emotes over on my Twitch stream. So if you want to use those, go over and subscribe. Trink says, probably search for father pornographic, not daughter. Is the daughter writing saying, my father? Yes. Anyway, so that's the bunny. Let's see. The letter you printed recently about the wedding night of two people who had no previous sex experience was downright pornographic. Don't you realize that young children read your column and teenagers? To think you would print a letter by a lunatic who thought inexperience and clumsiness on a wedding night was a big laugh is beyond belief. Sex belongs in the bedroom behind locked doors, not in a family column. The communists are trying to destroy the morals of our youth, and I believe either you are in cahoots with them or being duped into doing their dirty work. If this letter gets into the paper, I'll eat my hat, but at least I got this off my chest. Signed, Revolted Lady. And says, start nibbling. Oh, Shaleblade is now following. Thank you, Shaleblade, for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yay. Start nibbling. Sex is a part of life, and life is what this column is about. I love start nibbling. Sex is a part of life. That might be a new t-shirt. That might be a new t-shirt design. Oh my goodness. It just reminds me, it's the line from the movie. Are you all old enough to remember the movie Gigli? Or a Jiggly. Is it Jennifer Lopez in that movie?
I believe so.
James says he believes so. It's turkey time. Gobble, gobble. It occurs to me that that movie might be older than some of the people in the chat right now. Yes, I guess they ate their hats, says Natty. Yep. Katie Winnes says, oh God, no furries? Really? Oh God, yes, furries. Always. Joe says, furry artist here now. I'm saying now, totally going to draw that bunny. Yay! Joe Lasco, if you want to draw the bunny, I'm going to drop a link in the chat in just a moment to my reference sheet. I guess not really a sheet exactly, but reference, if you want to draw the bunny, I've done up an entire reference. I've got a page with that you can use as reference if you want to draw my rabbit character. So here's a link to that. Mr. T-Bone says, Benifer. Pronounced Geely. Oh, I refuse to pronounce it Geely. Anyway, so if you do want to check out my bunny art, it's at mattbaum.com/bunny-reference. Or no, bun-reference. So there it is. There's this art, there's that art, there's this art. These are all different bunnies that have been drawn of me. So, you know, and there's me. And there's my kind of, there's my art vibe. So this is what I sent to artists who want to draw me as a rabbit. So now you've got that. Natty Draw says, I too am a furry artist. Hooray for furry artists. Mr. T says, do you have a name for your bunny personas or just Matt? This is a great question. James often refers to me as Herman, so I don't know if I want that rabbit to go by Herman or not. I feel like Matthew's a good rabbit name. Daisy says, ooh woo, bunny rabbits. Yeah, Julie, the movie that sunk Jersey Girl. David says, are you coming out as furry or are you just furry adjacent? Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the joke on when I'm streaming on Twitch is the joke is me driving furries crazy by being like, oh no, I'm not a furry. I just had furry art done. And I'm not really a furry. All my friends are furries, and I'm not really a furry. I just go to furry conventions, and I'm not really a furry, but I identify as an anthropomorphic cartoon animal. But I'm not really a furry. So that's what I'm coming out as, is I guess a furry troll. Joe says, a reference sheet. You were ready. Thank you for the link. Herman here. Oh, Matt Bunn. And I'm not really a furry, but I am in VR chat as a rabbit. So you can find me if you're in VR chat. Bunny Matt is my name, my username over there. That's so Derek says, what about Matthew Wu? So my name in Stardew, we're doing a Stardew Town over on Twitch, and Matthew Wu is my character's name in Stardew. So yeah, I'm not really a furry. I've just been on Fur Affinity since it launched. And I'm not really a furry, but I've been on furry forums going all the way back to Transform.2. Anyway, not really a furry. David says methinks the bunny doth protest too much. Hank says, I'm not furry. I shaved yesterday. Oh, Hairman is not bad. Whoops. Just totally screwed up my screen here. Let me get that back. There we go. All right. What else we got from Ann Landers? Oh. Acquaint yourself with the guidelines. Read Ann Landers' booklet, Love or Sex and How to Tell the Difference. Also over here, unrelated, a column with the headline, Use Up That Fruit. That could be the name for one of our streams. Oh, Lurking Grew. I'm Changa Husky on VR and elsewhere. Oh, look at all these names connecting now. This is the problem with living in Seattle. Everyone here has their real name, their pup name, their porn name, their furry name, their name on Ravelry, their name, their Klingon name, their VR chat name, everyone has so many identities here. I mean, and that's true of people everywhere, but it was particularly a problem for me when I moved to Seattle. The other observation I have about Seattle, everyone's got a dungeon. Not everyone. There's a lot of dungeons here. When I first moved here, I was like, what is going on? Because, first of all, people were like, oh, come on over, I'll show you my dungeon, just casually. And also a lot of poly families. I interviewed somebody for one thing and interviewed somebody for something else. And he was like, oh, this is my boyfriend's husband. And that's our cat. And that's the cat that he shares with his boyfriend. And just a lot of, non-nuclear families. Close to you says, I'm not lesbian. I just like boobs. Yeah. King Boy says, which is the hottest Looney Tune? Oh, well, we were talking about this on a stream many weeks ago. Yosemite Sam getting frisky with a fish. Do you remember this? When I was talking about this, there was a mall that I went to in the late 90s that had a Looney Tunes store, and on the balcony over the Looney Tunes store was a giant statue of Yosemite Sam holding a fish in a way that was extremely provocative. But the hottest furry Looney Tune? Minerva Mink. Natty says, what is transform.to? I will leave that to you to learn more about. Mr. T-Bone, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. You subscribe to Fur Affinity for the articles. How could you do this to me? How could you call me out like this? Tyler says, have you worn a fursuit? No, I have not. Never. I do have... I'm not a furry, but I do have a bunny tail. And literally within arm's reach, I have this hat. So, there it is. This isn't really a fursuit or furry outfit or anything, but it does have little ears. It's an owl. I was in the grocery store and somebody stopped me and they're like, what kind of animal is that? And I'm like, I think it's an owl. And they're like, no, it's got to be some sort of mammal. It's like some sort of burrowing mammal. It might be a shrew or a vole. And I'm like, it's just a hat, please, madam. I'm trying to buy tater tots.
It was very Paul Lynde.
Well, no, I just became Paul Lynde for a moment. Game Pointless says, this whole stream is just amazing coincidence after amazing coincidence. How are you finding this magic? This is what archive research is you start looking for stuff, and you can see by all the tabs I have open that I barely even scratched the surface of, you start finding stuff, and you're like, that's interesting, that's interesting, that's interesting. Look over there. There's a rump roast. That's making me think about butts. Rump roast and wieners over there. Geiner's Superior Wieners. Anyway. Grady says, save on pork and beans, 3 for 89 cents. Yeah, Natty says, casual dungeon time. That is what like half of the hangouts in Seattle are once we can go back to normal. Trig says, hottest animated guy has to be Aladdin. He's not bad. Aladdin's a good one. Aladdin's a good one. We were talking earlier about the turtles, and there's a lot of cuties on the turtles and the biker mice from Mars. Deja says, Klingon, you have a lot of Trekkies there? So many nerds. Seattle is such a nerdy city. It's, you know that Margaret Cho joke about I can't remember exactly how it's phrased, but the Venn diagram where you're like, if you made a Venn diagram of like, speaks Klingon, goes to Ren fairs, owns kinky leather gear, it would just be a circle. Jim D says, I was a teenage furry. King of Pointless, you wear the bunny tail for the articles. Stop it. David says, how many I'm not a furry but expressions have you used? Countless. More than I can count on my fingers, which I don't have because I have paws. Donnie Dragon says, is it Furby? Oh, no. Tyler says, is Matt Baum's to furry as Paul Lynde was to the gay community? Okay. Anyway, what are we looking for here? What have we got? Some basic tips to growing herbs at home. Oh, who's Herb? Woman is supreme ruler of remote Turkish hamlet. Lucky Hamlet. Year of the Woman, told that 1975 was a woman's year. One of Aisha's male underlings said without bitterness, here as you can see, it is always the year of the woman. Driving a bus more satisfying than office job. All right, great. Slow news day. First woman's bank to open in the fall. What? First woman's bank. After 3 years of trying to raise capital, blah, blah, blah. First woman's bank. Okay, now this needs to be contextualized because 1975, it was difficult for women to be financially independent. So I actually do see the use of having a bank placing emphasis on the financial needs of women. That actually makes sense. I was going to say, like, this is the most ridiculous thing. It's like having a women's pens, which Bic did. Like, they had a line of women's pens for a while. Anyway, but a women's bank in 1975 makes actual sense. Oh, Joe Lasco, Don Carnage. Yes, Don Carnage helped me realize I was bi, but that's another story. He's a good one. It's the Ricardo Montalban of furries. King Pointless, thank you again for the tip. My gosh. My gosh. Got me to stay longer than I planned to. This is fascinating. Check out Mysteries and Scandals on Paul Lynde on YouTube. Oh, I will. I will do that. Thank you. David says, come out of your rabbit hole. Never. Deja Voodoo learned Klingon as a kid. Whoa, that's very impressive. I am very impressed by that. Oh, Close to You says, X Games is starting again. See you. Have a nice day. Good luck with the X. You're not competing, are you? You're probably not. Close to You, I'm so glad that you were here. I'm so glad you joined us. Have a good time with the X Games. I hope you see, I know you have a favorite skier. I hope you see your favorite skier. Mr. T, the Bic for her line, yeah. Yeah, Norman says, don't make fun of the women's bank. Watch Dolores Claiborne to understand why for this time period a man had control of his wife's account. Yeah, this actually, I was looking at it as like, oh, how sexist to have a bank for women. But no, this is actually something that is important. In the same way, less important now, but every now and then people start like a credit union for queer people. And again, depending on what part of the country you're in, actually important because you can be denied a bank loan for being queer. This is something that an aspect of discrimination that is not often talked about, but financial discrimination. You can be denied all kinds of things financially, depending on where you are. If they even just like suspect that you're gay. Now, what is going on here? An oddity is surfaced in a recent stamp issued by Canada Post Office, a tribute to 50th anniversary of the United Church. An odd-shaped blob appears to be resting on the left shoulder of Dr. Cho. Okay, I thought this was a stamp commemorating Frankenstein. I thought this was a picture of like Lon Chaney as did Lon Chaney play Frankenstein? Anyway, this looked like the universal Frankenstein monster. But no, apparently this is Dr. Chone of the United Church. An odd blob is resting on his shoulder. Purchased at the Red Deer, blah, blah, blah. Right and stamped, blah, blah, blah. Gives rise to a halo-type circular marking. Will never be anything more than a philatelic conversation piece. A lot of ads for wieners. What's going on? Wieners, very popular in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. This kid very excited to be on a bicycle. All right, not seeing anything else too exciting. Some nice looking... honestly, these are some nice looking shoes. Casual comfort and blue denim. Oh, blue denim. Denim Converse sneakers is actually absolutely would wear. Wait, what was that one? Bronx Talking Humorist dies. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be something funny. Bronx Talking Humorist dies. Picard disappointed successor and outsider. Laurent Picard, outgoing president of the CBC, is disappointed that his successor cannot have been chosen from within the CBC. All right. And we're on to the funny pages. I don't think we've got anything. Farm plebiscite sought. I don't think we got anything else to look at here. Boop. Oh my god, I forgot about this. I totally forgot about this letter. I closed the tab and came back to this. Oh, Boris Karloff. Thank you. How could I have forgotten Boris Karloff? It's because there was another article about Lon Chaney on another tab. Yes, David Diaz, you're absolutely right. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, instrumental in bringing about women's equality financially. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg argued her first case in 1971, many banks would not issue women credit cards or allow them to open checking accounts without their husband's permission. King of Pointless. Fuck you, Karloff does not deserve to smell my shit. Reference to Ed Wood. David says, wieners are a perennial favorite. They certainly are in this household. There's a real wiener market, says Shaleblade. It's a buyer's market for wieners. David says, I'm a woman and I buy men's razors. They just work better, are cheaper, and come in basically black. Oh, I missed the beer with balls? Wait, what? There was beer with balls? Hold on. Reopen close tab. Where was beer with balls? That I gotta see. Where are we looking here? John Wayne and Brannigan. Oh, and here's young Frankenstein. Confessions of a Window Cleaner. Held over second week with Anthony Booth at the Uptown Theater. Look at how this ad looks like the Graduate ad. I'm sorry. Also, this ad right here, Nancy says salads. Toss a salad. For new interest, toss a new vegetable, one that you haven't used before, into your salad. The 3 C's of salad making are salad should be crisp, salad should be cold, salad should be colorful. Nancy says salads. King of Pointless says, now I do better go. Stop pulling me back in. There's always something fascinating to look at. Grace says, I would fight alongside Matt Baum in an SCA war. Wait, what's an SCA war? Like Pensic? What? What is that? Yeah, Katie Wyness says, Young Frankenstein is an old favorite of mine. Frau Blucher, the wonderful Cloris Leachman in that. Ground beef, a popular choice because of its versatility. Thanks, Nancy. Like, Nancy says salads is... Why is that so funny to me? Toss a salad, Nancy. Toss a salad. At Safeway. Toss a salad at Safeway. Ah, Nancy. Get away. Too close. Nancy Nutrition. Eat well to feel well. Choose your food carefully. With nutrients. Jesus, this menu... Every day for breakfast, orange juice, rolled oats, coffee, milk. Then half a grapefruit, toast, coffee. Like, who has the time? Top it with Rogers. Quack open a baby duck. Baby duck champagne. Still not seeing the beer with balls. I need that beer with balls. Oh, well. Oh, Society for Creative Anachronism. Of course. What kind of wars does the SCA have? Kim Pointless says, was Nancy actually Florence Henderson, but horny? She does have that look, doesn't she? Look at that. She's coming for you. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What was this? Oh. I read this backwards. Here's some nutrition notes from Nancy to help you eat better for less. I read that as to help you eat less better. Spirited Fashions. All right. I think that's enough of this goofy nonsense. Dividend days at the co-op and McLeod's value by the yard. All right, now back to this. You're either a nut or a communist, Ann Landers. The Pensic War is an SCA event in Pennsylvania. A week-long war between two kingdoms. Oh, that actually sounds very fun. Like medieval times war? Keep Pointless says, speaking of horny Nancy's, Nancy Sinatra just did some new interviews for a new album. She endorsed, wait, what? Coomerism? Do you mean communism? Or something else? What is Coomerism? It's talking about the SCA because some people call it the Society for Consenting Adults. Yeah, Trig, it is nerds getting their freak on. That does sound good. 1970s health solutions, figurines. Yeah, oh yeah, and the diet. Yeah, the diet pills. Okay. Ann Lander says, if you find my column disgusting, don't read it anymore. It's probably bad for your digestion and your blood pressure. I don't want to be responsible for heartburn or heaven forbid a stroke. So goodbye, honey. I'll miss you. Cold. Cold. Oh, Coomerism is being horny. All right, cool. Cool, as they say about the St. Louis riverboat. Let's see. Anything else good here? Not really. Not really. Not really. Article about D.W. Griffith, speaking about problematic pages of the newspaper. I'm going to hang on to this Ann Landers page because I think it's hilarious. Let's see. So Ann Landers. So we were looking for Ann Landers' father photographs. Let's see if that gets us anything. All right, we got a whole bunch of hits with this one. Let's see what we find. Do not force sun into ladies' room. All right. Ooh. And Landers, last night after my lover checked into the motel, we drove around a room to the rear. Oh, we bumped into his eldest son, who was coming out of the adjoining room with his girlfriend. It was a terrific shock to all of us. Nobody spoke, but his son's gasp could have been heard a half block away. That is not a true story. That is somebody writing into Ann Landers with some fiction. Let's see. Question for Ann Landers about cremation. This is not related. No reason to learn to read. People get through life without reading, says Juanita Chambers, an education professor at University of Alberta. Children are having trouble learning how to read because there isn't any reason for them, she says. What? Is that the whole article? That's the whole article. No reason to learn to read. Literally, the whole article is 2 sentences. People can get through life without reading. Okay, cool. Kim Pointless says, Nancy Sinatra literally said, don't get married when you're young, sleep around. She's great. Awesome. Woman rationally rejects friend's offer to help her. Hyperactive child. Chemicals can create spots on face. Oh no. American Revolution fought in London clubs. Buy our book while buy life insurance when you're young. Society crime links require study. Lowdown on dressing for hoedown. Oh, all right. Lowdown on dressing for hoedown. Fort Worth Company makes patterns for square dance dresses and chaps. The only thing that's funny about that is the headline. More ads for wieners. What do you know? Pre-season coat sale. Yeah, all right. No, nothing good going on here. Will foil grabbers. What? Will foil? Oh, will foil grabbers. Let's see, a lot of letters to Ann Landers about family stuff, but I'm not seeing anything about the that intriguing. The thing that got us on this search originally was somebody writing in about finding dirty letters when going through her father's stuff, dirty photos, and then something about bisexuals. Oh, Father's Secret Life Shock Family. Is this it? Aha! It's too late for us, especially my mother. She's already had a nervous breakdown. Dad passed away last month. He was a great person. The day before the funeral, we were going through Dad's personal belongings and found a metal box. It was locked and we had to pry it open. We found photographs that I will never forget as long as I live. No question they were taken during the last few years of his life, perhaps months. Dad had posed nude with several other men and women. They were in pictures involved in the sex act. We didn't know any of the people in the photographs. Apparently he had a secret life we knew nothing about. If any person who reads your column has such damning evidence hidden away, please, for God's sake, get rid of it. If your mother has had a nervous breakdown, I assume she's under the care of a psychiatrist. He will explain to your father was a sick man, very sick. His ability to lead 2 completely different lives is a symptom of severe personality disorder. And there it is. Chris says, do you have access to a university institutional login? I don't. So what I do have access to for these like news hunts is newspapers.com, and I also have New York Times archive login, which I pay for. It's a business expense though because of all the YouTube videos that I make. So anyway, I have logins for these old newspaper archives, which I just find fascinating. Chris says, or do you have an affiliation with the university that could grant you that? I'm trying to think of like some way that I would have that. I do not. No. Yeah, King Pointless says, Ann Landers, did you ever successfully help anyone? Yeah, Mr. T-Bone says, didn't this guy know you hide your porn in the forest so kids can have a... Yeah. Like, locked box that they have to pry open. Kids... Maybe it's locked for a reason. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. When your mother and you children accept this fact, the hurt will be greatly diminished. You will then feel compassion for your father rather than disgust and betrayal. Well, so that's the article. Severe personality disorder, Ann Landers says, having... but this was the attitude at the time, 1975.
I don't know that it would be radically different today.
James says, I don't know that it would be radically different today.
If your dad made a bunch of secret porn that your mom didn't know about, I think she'd be upset.
Okay, so there's a couple things going on here. James makes a good point, which is they're right to be upset. Like, your mother discovering that her husband had made porn that she didn't know about. Like recently? Legitimate to be upset about. I think the framing of it, though, as a sick man very sick, a severe personality disorder, I don't know that sickness and disorder is what's going on there.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be like, oh,
it
that's
would,
cool.
No, yeah.
Dad should be able to make porn and not tell anyone.
Yeah, like a secret sex life is maybe not like I'll sign off on that, but the framing of like mental illness is, I think, what is the issue. That's not great. Oh, King Pointless says, was her dad Bob Crane, the former star of Hogan's Heroes, who shot amateur prawn before he was murdered? Perhaps, but also, what was the movie about that? There was a movie about that starring a Quaid. Perhaps, but I'm sure there are lots of people who just had that story in their life. Yep. Mr. T-Bone says, maybe the kids thought it was a Fabergé egg. Well...
Wait, what year was this?
75.
So it must have been a projector.
Oh, it wasn't motion pictures, it was photos.
Photos, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, imagine getting the popcorn and the
yeah.
chairs out.
Getting it all out.
Oh, Dad had a movie.
Dude, what's Dad's movie? Let's watch it as a family. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, my Lord. Oh, no, Ann Landers. My 7-year-old son says he's old enough to go to a public restroom alone when we were out shopping without his dad. Misspelled it as did. Without shopping with his did. I always insisted that he go with me to the ladies' restroom. There's so many freaks running around loose these days, I feel a lot safer taking him in with me. The boy resents it because he's quite large for his age, and some of the women have been giving him funny looks lately. Ann Landers' advice? Stand outside a men's room for a few minutes and ask some gentleman on his way in if he will look after your son. I'm sure you'll have no trouble buttonholing a friendly volunteer.
Buttonholing?
Okay. Some rather dated advice from Ann Landers. And this thing at the end. Okay. Drugs? How much is too much? Is pot okay? Is LSD too much? Get Ann Landers' new book, Straight Dope on Drugs. Send $1 plus a long self-addressed stamped envelope. Oh, they went up a few years ago. It was 50 cents in coins. Now it's $1. And also this unrelated article here. A goodly ghost. Graham Bonnet got just what he wanted for his wedding anniversary. 2 handsome sheepdogs. His wife Adrienne got just what she wanted too. A 300-year-old house with a resident ghost. My ghost is helpful around the house, she says. Rushing off to work, I knocked 6 skirts off their hangers onto the closet floor. When I got home, they were hung up in different places. They ghost isn't so helpful in the kitchen, though. He throws bread around the room and turns off the toaster when we try to make toast, said Mrs. Bonnet. A medium told us that he thinks bread is the staff of life and imagines we are trying to burn it to death when we toast it. This is one of those cases where this article is just a little too short. Just a few more details would have been helpful. Anyway, so we got to the bottom of the Ann Landers situation there. Close down some of these. The name of the game has changed. Some timely tips for holiday mailing. Submit picture before wedding. Piano sale. Look at this modern dance. Modern dance. Riri Woodbury gives it new life. I don't know about this modern dance here. More ads for wieners. So weird. Every page of Ann Landers has an ad for a hot dog. Printed patterns make it easy. Streamlines you. Smart crochet. Slipcover is safest for covering couch. Cocktail buffet implies light meal. Oh, Emily Post advice. Insidious roaches irritate shut-in. Oh no, I'm a shut-in who needs help. I have some new neighbors and I think they brought their roaches with them.
Oh.
I've seen 3 and that is too many for me as they simply scare me to death. I think you read about the product, blah, 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 blah. Old-fashioned remedy and one particularly non-poisonous to people and pets is to mix 1 part borax and 3 parts of finely crushed chocolate. Some half and half borax and powdered sugar. Good advice for everybody there. It's Fosse, said Davis. Yeah, would a Fosse neck help? All right, bringing this back down. Busiest gets his own show. Remember when we were talking about Paul Lynde? Keeps laughing his padded Hollywood square. I don't want to die on stage. It's quite unattractive, Paul Lynde says, was saying happily. I want to quit while I can still dance. For me, the anxiety of performing is like walking in eggs and it only gets worse. The longer I stay on Hollywood squares, the further I get away from my goal. I'm a fantastic actor. I'd like to play a jolly priest or something. I'm tired of yelling. I'm tired of playing father. I'd love to go to New York and take my California house and put it on top of the Pierre Hotel there and have a ball. And Paul Lynde is on top. I bet. Oh, look at what it says. Paul Lynde is on top, and he got there the hard way. Uh-huh. Oh, for sale, Jumbo Jets, Pirates, and Sensurround. Let's see. Oh, and here they've got some of his best hits up here. Paul, there's a baby inside your mommy. Is there any light in there? Paul says, sometimes during ballet class. What? I understand nothing about this. So Hollywood Squares question. Paul, there's a baby inside your mommy. Is there any light in there? Paul, sometimes during ballet class. I guess he's saying that she's opening wide, so... Okay, that's dirty.
Sure.
That's dirty. But I don't understand the question, really.
Feels like someone wrote the joke first and then worked backward to get to the question.
James is right. James says, seems like someone wrote the joke and then worked backward to get to the question. Peter, are those new featherless chickens a bit nervous about it? Paul, well, that's why I add Valium to my shake and bake.
That's not why.
James says, that's not why. Jim D says, not a priest. Brian, thank you again for the tip. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. I learned so much here. I'm taking all the porn I've made and I'm shredding those flash drives, or at least bury them in the woods. That was the tip from the chat. Bury your porn in the woods, apparently. Oh, so like a squirrel burying it for winter. That's what Derek is on his wiki page. Passed away at 55. Corner says it was a heart attack. Kim Portland says old comedy confuses me, especially, 70s comedy. I will never get 70s comedy. That's why I want you to watch Frankie Howard's Up Pompeii. The comedy is so dated, it's incomprehensible. There was something going on. Like, there was a style of comedy in the 1970s where I'm like, when I watch it now, I'm like, is that the joke? Was that punchline? What was funny there? Grady says, most of AbFab hasn't aged well at all. Hamilton said, porn logs? Yeah. Don't you report to Donna Reed? Oh, Bob Crane showed his porn to Donna Reed? Why? Did she want to see it? Young Paul was a chicken plucker. That's quite an epitaph. Discovered his talent to write by co-authoring the school comedy review with Sheldon Harnick, Fiddler on the Roof, and it's what pulled him out of the starving actor period later in New York. He sat down one night and wrote, oh dear, and wrote his classic African safari sketch. Not many details about what that is, but I don't think we need them. Blah, 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 blah. TV full-time. Peter, true or false? The now pending Equal Rights Amendment will make all public restrooms co-ed. Paul, oh, I don't think the women will stand for it. All right, that's maybe a C+. Peter, if the right part came along, would George C. Scott do a nude scene? Paul, you mean he doesn't have the right part? Okay, that's better. That's better. Although now that James has said the jokes are written first and they work backwards, I can't help but see that in every one of these jokes. Yeah, the reference, Achille Papin says, the reference to the pending Equal Rights Amendment, sad trombone, now pending Equal Rights Amendment. We'll get there someday. Natty says, 70s comedy came off of the drugged up 60s and then just went for the gold. Went sideways for the gold, perhaps. Yeah, King Pointless says, Ronan Martin's Laugh-In is baffling to me. Isn't it? Isn't it? Like, those jokes, but Laugh-In, I think, was late 60s, right? Laugh-In... air dates? Yeah, 68 to 73. I didn't realize it went that long. Oh, but of course it would have because they talk about President Nixon. Oh, yeah. So left out of many of his obits and reporting, David, is the amyl nitrate detail about Paul's passing. One of the rumors that I heard is that there was someone else present when he had, I think, what was it? Was a stroke or whatever it was? That there was someone else present and a gentleman and just not spoken about. Mr. T-Bone says, a good chunk of Laugh-In can only be understood by having watched all of the previous seasons because it's mostly callbacks. Oh, it's like coming to the NCU on Endgame and expecting to understand it. Oh, that's right. King Pointless Laugh-In had a gay cast member doing Paul Lynde type jokes. Was he actually queer, though? I think he just did, queerish characters, and that was the comedy. Let's see. True or false? Christopher Columbus wore bloomers and stockings. Paul says it's hard to sign up a crew for 6 months. That's pretty good. And, of course, the famous joke. I've seen this many a time. Why are motorcyclists partial to leather? And Paul says, because chiffon wrinkles so easily. Buddy Hackett came backstage during intermission last night. He studies me a moment, dangerously, a look that says, should I spill a poison sack in print or forget it? Then he lets it fly, loudly, his voice rising. Doesn't Buddy Hackett know that he went on Carson Show and told America that all the funny things I say on the Hollywood Squares are given to me? I can't go on air and say Buddy Hackett is not allowed on the show because he's so vulgar and so rotten and mean. Then he comes and sits in my dressing room. Paul waves his hand wearily to mean, he's not very good at that sort of thing, handling aggression. As a matter of fact, it's been the secret of his comic style. Internalized rage impotence. The feckless dad in Hello, Anne Margaret. Internalized rage impotence. Lynde was a blah, 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 blah. My best friends have always been women. If I look out and see an audience that's predominantly male, I know I'm in trouble. Women know how to laugh. Men don't. My following is straight, not gay. I'm so glad. Gay people kill Judy Garland, but they're not going to kill me. What? What a quote, Paul. What does that even mean? Gay people kill Judy Garland. Huh? As he was leaving another club wrapped in a clutch of fans, a large woman with pendulous cleavage and a blonde beehive broke through the crowd and lunged at him. "You son of a bitch," she cried. "You have the nerve to come around here after ripping us off? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, this gets hostile. A potential fracas was averted when a half-dozen policemen stood silently beside the shouting match that resulted. Eyes averted, towing the gravel back of the hill. Lynde was shaken. "I'm never coming back to Philadelphia. I'm getting out of this business. I mean it." Wowee. There's a t-shirt. Says, "That's so Derek." King Pointless says, "Okay, Paul, this is the worst thing you've ever done. Even worse than the Halloween special." Yeah, gosh, what a confrontation. And now we're jumping ahead many decades to 2007. Recommendations for the Paul Lynde Halloween special here. Camp it up with Lynde's Halloween treat. If you haven't seen Paul Lynde's Halloween special, I do recommend it. Another one from 2007, Gay Old Blast from Halloween Past. So the Halloween special released on DVD in 2007. So a lot of people had an opportunity to review just how bizarre this artifact is. Bruce Valanche among the writers. Bruce Valanche, a Sewers of Paris guest. If you have not listened to that episode of Sewers of Paris, go check it out, sewersofparis.com, to listen to my podcast. Interviews with folks who have had exciting adventures in entertainment. Let's see. H.R. Pufnstuff, Standby, Witchy Poo, Billy Hayes, Billy Barty, Florence Henderson, warbling and disco version of that old black magic, Donnie Marie, Tim Conway, Betty White, Roz, Pinky Tuscadero, Kelly, and Kiss. And, of course, Margaret Hamilton. That Paul Lynde Halloween special, what a sight. Close these down. All right, and then something, why did I open this? Oh, there must have been a reference. This is what, 77? Oh, why was there a reference to the Paul Lynde show here? So something that's a little frustrating about the New York Times search is that it'll like open up the page, but it won't show you, it won't like highlight the text that it found, which is a little annoying. Just glancing at what's on TV here in this listing that might have called it up. Again, a wonderful lineup on television. We've got Captain Kangaroo, The Flintstones, Mighty Mouse, Magilla Gorilla, Green Acres, not Success Without Colg. That must be a typo for college. Success Without Colg. The Monsters in Sesame Street. Whoa. With Gene Parr. How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay, Part 2. What is this? Okay, with Gene Parr. How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay, Part 2. Parents You're Gay. With Gene Parr. Oh my lord, the only reference to it is this listing in the New York Times. Something that aired in 1977 on Channel 2, which might have been the PBS station in, where was this? Was this in New York? Yeah, of course this would have been New York Times. Wow. Who's Gene Parr? Nanny says, I too am Success Without Colg. Grady says, I was 7 in 77. I remember it, but also remember that I had no idea who these people were. I just thought they were new neighbors. Wait, who? Oh, what? Me and Kate Hudson? The Paul Lynde Halloween special. Sure. Okay, so Gene Parr, Chris Noth's mom. Okay, so Mr. Big from Sex and the City, his mom. Married to Jameson. He died in 2006 in Maui. I guess she was an author, pioneering CBS correspondent, mother of Chris Noth. Okay, so I guess she was a reporter. Started broadcasting career at WKOW, New Haven, weather reporting, blooper broadcast, caught the attention of producers from the 70s game show That's My Line, appears as a contestant and later a panelist on the series. What could this have been, though? How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay, 1977. Oh, man, it makes me crazy that there's nothing... No other reference to that anywhere. Grady says I was 7 in 77. Oh, yeah. I'm shocked that was aired at the time. Which year? Good Lord. David says, you're aware of the Alice sitcom episode, Alex Falls for Mills' old college buddy? Yes, confessing that he's gay, 1976. So multiple people have recommended that to me. I do have to watch it. I've been getting a lot of, I don't know why, but recently multiple people have suggested I take a look at that one. So it is on my list. That link, hopefully go to the description of the show, but nope. It does not. It only goes to the TV listing. So it aired on July 25 and July 26, 1977, No other indication that it ever aired anywhere else or ever again, or that it was part of some other series. What could it have been? Oh, and there's another listing for Success Without College. With Gene Parr, How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay. I'm trying to think if there's any other way. Let's try the other newspaper archive. Newspapers.com. King Boy says, you're uncovering some amazing stuff there. You've seen Naked Civil Servant or An Englishman in New York. I haven't seen it. I'm aware of them. With the Quentin Crisp biopic starring somebody famous who I can't... William Hurt, I think? Yeah, Natty says someone needs to find a recording of that. How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay. Oops. Extra apostrophe in there. It's another TV listing. I was hoping there might be actual coverage of it. Where did this air? New Jersey. Okay, so this was on Channel 2. Monday, How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay, Part 1, Part 2. How to Be a Success. Your image is the key to success. Don't say yes when you want to say no. I mean, I guess the place to start here is Channel 2, New York. NYC Channel 2. CBS station now. Was it in the 70s? Yeah, looks like it was in the 70s. So it did say that she was a CBS correspondent. So it was some local CBS show. So local CBS affiliate, Gene Parr. Let's start with just Gene Parr. 1970s. I don't know what this is going to turn up. Yeah. Public Affairs, Eye on New York. Late Night Show. Not a lot here about her. It looks like that's her covering the Tonys in 67. Reports of her dying. There she is on What's My Line. American Musical Theater, hosting some sort of musical theater Broadway thing. An interview with Kenneth Williams and Barbara Windsor. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be real hard to find. Google search only goes to New York Times TV schedules. You may have to go to Print Research Library for any... Yeah, and there's like a vanishingly slim chance there's anything other than that. You know, last thing I'll search here is Google News. If it's not in newspapers.com, it's probably nowhere. But How to Tell Your Parents You're Gay. Interesting. This is probably not what I'm looking for. Tell your... Yeah, there's somebody else referencing just that topic from an interview in 2009. What could have been the advice, though? Gene Parr, gay. Nope, nothing. I'll look here as well, but I don't think we're going to find anything. Gene Parr, gay. And turns up... Well... Oh, actually, there's a little bit more. Let's see what we've got. Okay, apparently there was something called the Gene Parr Show. That must have been it. All right, let's see what we've got. So it's just a show called With Gene Parr. All right. Norman says, as I'm a librarian, I'll attempt to see if I come across anything. Maybe in the Archives of Sexuality and Gender database we subscribe. Yeah, if you find anything, let me know. It might be uploaded from VHS on YouTube, says Deja. I found a lot of random old shows. Nothing turned up for, like, just the brief search that I did. King Pointless says, while you're on YouTube, check out that Matt Baum guy. He's cool. Yeah, do check out that Matt Baum on YouTube. Like and subscribe even, maybe. Oh, Norman found an article in the Archives of Gender and Sexuality. Give me an email. I'll send this article to you. It's matt@mattbaum.com. That's the best email address to use. Matt at mattbaum.com. Also, if you go to mattbaum.com, there's a little contact thing at the bottom of the front page. Lost is all those old Johnny Carson episodes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just like wiped. King Play says, thank you, Tulsa, for finally, assisting our civilization some way. Wait, what happened in Tulsa? Yeah, VCRs in 77, they were $1,000. Yeah, so unlikely that anyone would have recorded this. So some show called With Gene Parr. With Gene Parr, homosexuality on television. Kay Gardella, TV critic of the news. Another show, 77, homosexuality on television with Gene Parr. What could that have been? What could that have been? Let's see if we got anything with Gene Parr. With Gene Parr, it actually carries homosexuality, but not for homosexual. Okay. There's also a listing for a show called Not for Women Only, Homosexuality. Oh, this might be a transcript. Oh, and I just noticed this has opened a new window. So I'm sorry. I'm like searching through something that you can't actually see. Let me see if I can switch over to that one. Window capture. We're going to switch over to the window capture. The dog transcript with logos. Not sure what this is going to be.
Matthew,
Yes.
could you close the door of the smoke?
Oh, yes. We've got it. Give me a second here. Ugh. Somebody's smoking outside, and the smell is getting inside the house.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. What do we got? Tyler says, can you contact the station maybe to look for the reel? That would probably be the only chance to find anything like it, is like going to whatever it was, KCBS or NYC, CBS 2? Yeah, WCBS. Maybe they might have something like in the archives. Oh, okay. So this is a conversation about the Dog Day Afternoon, the movie Dog Day Afternoon, about the way that they phrase this, getting money for a lover's sex change operation. Not obviously how we would phrase that today. We'll reveal for the first time my exclusive interview with him inside of the dramatic love story, so stay with us, we're live. Oh, that's fascinating. So they did an interview with the guy on whom the movie Dog Day Afternoon is based. So basically the story is this person robbed a bank. This is a real life story. This person robbed a bank to raise money for what we now would call gender confirmation surgery. Yikes. And this is a very explicit interview to air on, like, I don't know what time of day, but it's pretty laden with sex and swearing. Well, this is fascinating. Anyway, not what we were looking for, though. There's a thing about Gene Parr. Nothing useful there. Nothing useful there. Yeah. No idea what that could have, what that special could have been. I think you're right. The contacting the station is probably going to be the one thing, the one way to find it. All right, let me switch this back over now that I've closed that tab to. There we go. This guy, homosexual on television. Might have to just contact the station to find it. And Norman sent me something. Oh, that might be it. Hold on, let me take a look, Norman. I'm going to bump over to my email if I can find it. I've got so many tabs open, I literally can't find the tab with my email. All right, let's see. Gene Parr article I found from Gays Week. Oh, article with Gene Parr, John on the Mountain. Oh, here it is. Yeah. All right, so hold on. Let me, I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to bring this over full screen if I can figure out how to do that so you can all see it. Norman, thank you so much for tracking this down. I am absolutely in awe that you were able to find this. Hold on, let me get the let me get it up here. All right, so here it is. Art Buchwald, Gene Parr, John Fastrogelis, and Motel on the Mountain. CBS TV, on February 22nd, 1978, carried an edition of The Gene Parr Show when she featured an interview with two gay couples. Vito Russo. Amazing that he's cited here. In 1978, Vito Russo, who his work was the foundation of the basis of The Celluloid Closet, the documentary, the book in the documentary. Vito Russo, one of the founding people who founded GLAAD. So here he is, featured on a TV show in 1978. This is amazing.
And he got you a nomination.
Yeah, Vito Russo, I have to thank for my GLAAD Award nomination. Did Gene Parr have a gay kid, says David Diaz? Well, Chris Noth was her son. Other than Chris Noth, obviously. Let's see. Chris Noth, brother? Just checking. Chris Noth, brother? Let's see, other blah, 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 blah. Children 2, early life. Youngest of 3 boys to news reporter Gene Parr. Family settled in Stamford. Marlborough College. Classically oriented education. I don't know. I mean, is Chris Noth queer? I don't think that he is. Carolyn Wilson, Canadian actress, son, Connor's Tea House, Ninth New Family, Sherman Oaks. So he's married to a woman. Doesn't mean he's not queer, but that's interesting. I guess, so he's got a brother named Charles James Noth. Or no, was that? No, that's his father. Anything about brother? Not Chris Noth, his older brother and mother. With his then infant older brother, Charles... Oh, wait. Okay, so his brother was named Charles James Noth after the father. I don't know. Maybe she had a gay son. Yeah, David says, Vito Russo. I know, right? Right? How amazing is that? Okay, so anyway, haven't even gotten like one sentence into this article. Vito Russo, Reverend Bill Johnson represented younger gays, and Philip Egan and Pat Farrow older. One striking contrast was that Phil Egan was 23 years ago denied admission to a seminary, studied for ministry. Bill Johnson quite recently attained national attention, first openly gay to ever be ordained in a church. Pat and Philip, probably the right moment, they discussed an arrangement they agreed to early in a 14-year relationship. Pat agreed to do the housework, Philip the dishes. I went right out and bought a dishwasher, says Philip. Made a striking point when the discussion of the legality of gay relationships. Elise is the closest thing a gay can have to a marriage license. When Jean turned to the audience with the question of whether gays should be allowed to be married, she evoked 2 classic responses. One woman objected by telling gays, we are not increasing the population. Second woman didn't like gays in general because she contracted bronchial asthma as a result of being rejected by my fiancé when he left me to live with his male roommate. Madam, this is a Wendy's. I don't know what to say to that. Good and liberal Gene Parr ended the program saying with her Mary Poppins smile, it's a wonderful world, and part of the wonderful we live in is its variety. Gosh. Gosh. Anyway, so that's all we've got about the Gene Parr show. I mean, that fills in a little bit of the details slightly that she apparently went to this topic frequently. And it seems like the other records that we found, the other TV records, were probably talk show format, because it seems like it was sort of like, you know, kind of precursor to Oprah and all that kind of format that became more popular in the 80s. That Gene Parr had like a panel show discussion kind of thing. And that Vito Russo was on, representing the younger gays. Amazing. Amazing to see his name pop up there. Oh, yeah, David says, and an early activist. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Tyler says, Karens were always a thing. He got me sick, so no gay rights. Shellblade, yeah. So let's see. What else we got with Gene Parr? Seaman involved in murder. I'm sorry. I just noticed this. This headline: Fun at a New Time with Abe Vigoda in Fish. No idea what that is.
It's a spin-off of Barney Miller.
Oh, James says it's a spin-off of Barney Miller. Was it really?
Yeah, Fish, the popular detective or some kind of...
A popular detective named Fish, huh?
I think he was a detective. He might not have been.
Gene Parr highlights fashion and footwear. Okay, look, they couldn't all be like ripped from the headlines. Oh, and here's gay popping up in the search, but in a different context. To turn to other matters, Omnibus last Sunday offered an utterly charming and gay little essay called Mind Over Manners, written by Russell Lynde and featuring Mr. Jessica Tandy Hume. Let's see. Family's favorite spot for eating out. Love to read about families that eat out. Let's see. Gene Parr, The Superwives, promises another inside look at life in the field. Her book, Off the Field, a collection of 30 interviews with the wives of star athletes. Don't let baths pass you. Oh, don't let baths pass you by. It's a review for Saturday Night at the Baths. Wasn't looking for that, but here it is. Oh, as cinema, it fails. Too crudely and amateurishly made, bogged down, especially by uninspired, poorly written opening that's hamily acted or overacted by representatives of New York's gay community. As drama, it fares much better. A very natural thing, blah, blah, blah. Bad self-conscious opening, TLA, blah, 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 blah. And between the tongue of toxins and the gay libbers. Too expected but non-exploitative sex sequences. Not the film's high points. All right, little review for Saturday Night at the Baths there. Gene Parr, 70s gay ally, says David Diaz. Yeah. Do you remember Hot Seat with Wally George? I don't. Oh, yeah, that's what Derek says. Shout out to Anita Bigot in that article. Yeah, so this is pulling up a lot of other Gene Parr stuff that has, like, gay elsewhere on the page. Oh, what have we got here? Brian urges Carter to speak out on gays. Brian says she would accept a position as vice president of Southern Baptist Convention if it was an honorary thing. She urged President Carter to break his silence on the issue of homosexuality. Claims by homosexuals that gay rights are synonymous with human rights are hogwash. It's not human rights. It's a moral issue. Aligning homosexuality with the hogwash. I'm not just against the sin of homosexuality. I stand as a mother and for the protection of my 4 children. Begin a drive to restore prayer in the classroom. Oh, well. So much for that, Anita. I don't know that Carter really had much to say about homosexuality. He did meet with LGBT groups. Obviously, they weren't called that then. But Carter was known. I think he was the first president who met with, I don't know what I think it would have been called like gay liberation or gay rights groups. At some point, I want to say, I don't know the year. It might have been 78 or so. But Carter did meet with queer organizers. So probably not interested in Anita's offer there. Yep. And so here's some Gene Parr stuff that is not related, next to an article about the gay family reunion in Oskaloosa, Iowa. On their trip home, the gay family visited with Mrs. Binney. Gene Parr. Oh, what's this? Ooh. Oh, yes. Actually, so this is a listing for... I've actually talked about this episode of the show Family, Rights of Friendship. Willie's best friend since childhood, Zeke Remsen, is arrested in a gay bar, gay in scare quotes, and Willie finds it hard to accept the truth. So, yeah, prominent episode of the show Family. What was that, 76? We don't really remember the show Family that clearly today, or fondly or whatever. Because it is pretty dated, but it's a family drama. And this one episode, one of the teens on the show, his friend is arrested in a gay bar, and then they all have to deal with it and be like, "Oh, I don't know about this gay thing." Oh, Achille Papin posted some follow-up. 14 June 1978, the Southern Baptist Convention overwhelmingly rejected singer Anita Bryant as first vice president. Oh, well. Yeah, and Anita Bryant still somehow alive.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
They just named a street after her.
Who did?
The little town that she lives in. Named a street after her. And then it turned out that the sign that it was on like a cross street. And the cross street that it's on, so it's her name on the street and then some other street that's also on the sign. And the other street was spelled wrong, so they had to like tear the sign down after they dedicated it to her and reprint it. So, I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything, just haha, I guess. With Gene Parr, Homosexuality on Television, with Kay Gardella, TV critic of the news. Oh, and what's this over here? Who's who? Dan Rather, Charles Correll, Barbara Howard, reporters. Report on Anita Bryant and gay community in Florida. Profile of fight promoter Don King. Yeah, same station too, CBS. So yeah, a lot of these like interesting old news reports just totally lost because they would write over the tapes or they wouldn't save them. So there's a slim chance it's in an archive somewhere, but extremely slim. All right, I'm just going to like boop around briefly here, see if there's anything else good in the news here. Here's a car for $4,000. Great gifts. Cigarette ad, zero-based media planning, ask Newsweek. And then we're into the classifieds over there. Summer clearance sale. Not really interested in that. Demand builds for Merit Taste Technology. Oh, here we go. Remember we were talking about this earlier? There's an ad for hair. When is this? 77. The American Tribal Love Rock Musical. Ad for something called I Love My Wife, a musical. Liv Ullmann in Anna Christie, directed by Jose Quintero. This week at Mostly Mozart, Side by Side, Sondheim. Crowds flock to Seattle Opera Ring. Apparently they did the Ring here in 77 and it went well. I Never Promised You a Rose Garden, A Bridge Too Far. Orca, the Killer Whale. Second week. I mean, it's a very attractive logo. Doesn't really tell you much about the movie. Outlaw Blues, ad for King Kong, is an adventure story, a suspense story, a love story. Oh, ad for The Spy Who Loved Me. Like, it's such a weird mix of, like, memorable and, oh my god, an ad for the first nudie musical. Look at that. It's fresh, it's funky, it's Wait, no. It's fresh, it's funny, it's funky. It's the Star Wars of nudie musicals.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
Shirley.
It's got Shirley.
Or did it have Laverne?
Or Laverne. I can't remember. Cindy? Which one was Cindy?
It was, Shirley.
Shirley. What's her name? Cindy?
Laufer.
Loeffler?
No, it's not that. Williams, of course.
Cindy Williams in the first nudie musical at the 68th Street Playhouse. The first off-Broadway motion picture. Oh, Mr. T-Bone says, search for homosexuality 1977 special report. You get one that might be Gene Parr. All right, let's check that out. Oh! 1977 special report, parents and homosexuality.
Chances are someone you know is a homosexual, even though you may not be aware of it. It's conservatively...
This is, I mean, that's a great opening. Okay, let's see. There's a 13-minute segment. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to bring this back to the beginning and make sure the volume's turned up. King Pointless says, that wasn't an ad for Hair the Musical. It was a classified ad selling your ponytail. My ponytail was just a gleam in the eye then. All right. Here we go.
Chances are someone you know is a homosexual, even though you may not be aware of it. It's conservatively estimated that out of every 20 women, one is a lesbian. There are even more male homosexuals, 1 out of every 10. Doctors don't really seem to know what causes homosexuality, though most agree that once sexual preference is set, usually by the mid-teens, little can be done to reverse it. April magazine has found out that mom and dad are often the last ones to know if their son or daughter is gay.
Just scrubbing through here to see if there's any
Imagine
other
yourselves the parents of a college boy who grew up in a small town on the coast of Maine.
indicates what this show might
You
even
received
be.
the following letter from your son.
Mom and Dad,
Oh, the reading is coming out later on the
difficult
news.
for me to say, and I am sorry that I am doing it in a letter, but it is much easier for me. I am a homosexual. I am sure that you have had doubts in the past, but hoped that they were not true. You may be repulsed, sickened, or just sad. There is nothing that we can do.
We're going to skip through the
I
letter a
have
little
gone
bit.
through hell for the past 10
Is this
years.
the son? Because,
I have
hello.
always known about my sexuality, but could never tell
All right,
anyone.
why are we interviewing him?
Now I have told you both. Take care, Steve.
I mean, honestly, why aren't we interviewing him?
It was 4 years ago that Steve Bull wrote that letter, while a student at the University of Maine. The youngest of 3 children, Steve was the type of son any parent could be proud of.
Oh, we do
Smart,
interview him. All
athletic,
right.
popular.
At which you began to feel that you were, quote, different from the expectation that was made for a young man in Kennebunkport, Maine.
Well, there were a series of
Wonder where he is today.
crushes I had on boys, and there was some sexual activity with boys from when I was 7 to 14, and there were a growing awareness that that I definitely did prefer that.
I mean, this is not so different from the Sewers of Paris interviews that I do today.
And the door is pretty much nailed most of the time. I mean, I saw my parents saying.
Naturally, we were
Okay, we have a little
shocked.
conversation with the parents here.
Floyd
Have contributed to it. I'm telling you, we covered 22 years in 3 days.
I think the one thing that is most traumatic in this kind of situation is the tendency of parents to reject such children.
Okay,
And
experts
yet
saying don't reject your
many
children. Not
homosexuals
bad.
come from totally different family backgrounds.
To a psychiatrist, discussed this thoroughly with him. He indicated to us after he had met our son.
Deja says,
There's
sitting next to my
nothing
mom
wrong
who's
with
listening
it.
to this with me, and she's
He's a
yelling the
normal
names of the
boy.
actresses like you can hear her. Oh,
He
she's
looked
like,
at the window
Cindy
and he
Williams.
said,
Mom, you have to
"It's
type it.
out
My mom,
there."
Cindy
He
Williams.
said the society that
Sorry. I'm
has
sorry.
this
I'm sorry. I can't remember the
homophobia.
names of the cast of Laverne and Shirley.
homosexuals.
Right.
Also,
the homophobia
hello, Deja's
of our
mom.
culture is deeply set in the mores of our culture. We're brought up to feel that way. From early life, we hear jokes made about homosexuals, and they're nasty.
Her son continues to be the achiever he's always been, attending a
Best
Los
of boy.
Angeles law school which specializes in human rights. Steve shares expenses with 8 friends in a large old home, and he pays his own way by working at a copying service.
You know, the greatest concern of a parent is that
I don't know if this
child
is
happiness.
Gene Parr.
You'll never be happy as a lonely homosexual.
That's what everybody thinks. Are they wrong?
Oh, yes. I'm very happy.
Well, I'm glad to hear that he's happy.
Some homosexuals do have psychiatric problems, but the American Psychiatric Association... How to tell mom and dad may be the most difficult problem the homosexual faces. Steve was lucky. Parents commonly reject their children, sometimes to the point of disowning them. Steve's parents found comfort at Parents of Gays, a group organized
Oh, my
to help
goodness.
mothers and fathers cope with their
1977
fears
reference
and
to what became
anxieties.
P-Flag. I'm very into his
Recent
cutoffs also.
research has
I know that's not what this
demonstrated
news
that
report is
if a
about, but like,
homosexual comes out of a loving
I
family
want a news report on his
with good
little
role
cutoff
models,
shorts there.
He's much more apt to
Tomer
be
says this is a
mature and
fantastic find.
emotionally
Isn't this
stable
great? Yes,
homosexual.
thank you for. Wait, let me scroll
Those are
back up
the
to the chat. Who
individuals are
was it that
more
made me aware of
likely
this?
Never to
Mr.
seek
T-Bone
psychiatric help
sent
or
me the link to
need it,
this.
who live in stable relationships with partners for many years and live very effective and well-adjusted lives.
Say you have more than one
Wait,
child
go back
in the
to the
family.
volleyball.
You're going to
I
begin
want to
to
see him
worry.
in his cutoffs again.
I don't think anybody can say that with absolute certainty.
If I could hand you a pill and say, here it is, Steve, you can be free from all the trial, all the pain, all the trouble.
All of my guts I put into this. I'm not going to give up. I mean, I've struggled. I've put a lot into this, and I'm not going to give it up that easily. I mean, I feel the pain, and I feel the anxiety.
This is so interesting. Like this, you solve all your problems by being straight, and like it's an unthinkable question today. Like I was just imagining how I would answer that, and it's like asking someone would you give up all your superpowers? Like, not that being queer is exactly a superpower, but like there's so much that I love about being queer that the idea of like, if I could give you the opportunity not to be queer anymore, would you take it? What a horror that would be.
You have to think, what is this that I am? You really search out yourself.
That's what Derek says. What's the guy's name? Chris something? And Neil says, what's the year? 77.
Because I'd analyzed.
Oh, it says right down there, 77 special
what
report.
was happening to me every day of my life, and they care about people a whole lot.
King Quintus says, did any other decade do shorts as well as 70s? They're pretty good in the 80s too.
Well, they love me a lot.
So I want to go back to the beginning of this and see if we can find the name of the family.
The following letter from down on the coast of Maine. You received the following letter from your son.
Mom and Dad, here for me. Sexual. You have had second. There's nothing that, believe me, sexuality.
It was 4 years ago that Steve Bull wrote that letter. While a
Sounds like Steve Bull or Steve Bowl? That's going to be a hard name to Google. But, I mean, worth a shot. Steve... I couldn't tell if it was Steve Bull or Bowl. I'm not even sure what to search. It was Kennebunkport, I think? Oh. What? Wait, oh! This might be him. Is it paywalled? Let's see. Oh, Deja says, my mom loves your channel. It leads to long conversations, mainly when I can out. My mom basically came out. My mom basically said, you can't really come out of the closet if you never stayed in it. So she knew before I knew. That's nice. Steel Magnolia says, all gay men have track lighting and all gay men are named Mark, Rick, or Steve. Okay, I think this is it. It was Steve Bull recalls like sitting in a fishbowl. The year is 1973. A handful of students at the University of Maine and Orna. Bull grew up in Kennebunkport and lives in Massachusetts. So I think this is it. I want to be able to read this without the paywall. Let's see if this is cached. Okay, it is. So this is an article from 2014, 1973. University students, gathered from Wild Stern Club, Roanoke, Maine, set inside Co-Lounge, Memorial Union. Fellow gay rights organizers couldn't help but notice the widely spaced picket line of gawkers on their way to and from the nearby cafeteria. Openly gay. It was down in Portland will come alive for the annual Pride Parade. Now white-haired and 62. It's the beginning of our coming out. Yeah, okay, but like... anything else? Co-founder of the Maine Gay Task Force. He was co-founder of the Maine Gay Task Force. Grew up in Kennebunkport, now lives in Massachusetts. First gay symposium, University of Maine in 74. Spearheading this week's gathering sees it wistfully is likely the last hurrah for this graying band of gay activists. They'll be remembered by those who came after them. They paved the way for us, says Dexter, parading. They weren't as brave if they weren't as brave as they were, which in those times was beyond brave. We didn't have the privileges we have today. I mean, that really sums up why I do a lot of the work that I do. Okay, so he lives in Massachusetts now. Steve Bull, Massachusetts. Okay, wait, go back. I want the cache. Steve Bull, Massachusetts, gay. One of the only things I got out of going to college, Massachusetts, was now I can spell Massachusetts correctly without having to like use spell check. It's one of the only other good things that came out of Arnold Schwarzenegger being the governor of California. I can spell Schwarzenegger. Okay, Steve Bull, Massachusetts, Maine Gay Task Force, 1974. There's actually a lot about him. It seems like he was pretty active. This, I think, is him. Holy shit. This is him. This is him on Facebook. Now, obviously, it's not showing us his full... Oh, my God. This is not showing us his full profile because I'm not logged in over here because I don't want to... live stream my logged in Facebook at you. But in another window, I'm logging into Facebook so I can look at it more closely. We do not have any friends in common. Yes, it is good that I did not live stream my logged in Facebook because I'm getting messages popping up from friends that I certainly do not have their permission to live stream. Yep. Oh, this is great. Here's a post from just a few months ago. Fundraising for Maine Transnet. So fundraiser for trans youth in Maine. This is amazing. This is amazing. Yeah. And, like someone of his age, posting a lot of memes. He posted a map of all the states he's visited to. Check out my move in Words with Friends. Check out my move in Words with Friends. Okay. Really, like using Facebook, like someone of his years. This is so wonderful. I might write a message to him like off stream. How lovely that he's still around and still doing work. Shen says, I'm from Massachusetts. I can still barely spell it. Gay Task Force Assemble. Yes, Mr. T-Bone. King Foitless says, wait, not all gay folks know each other? Some of us have not met in person. Norman says, you found him. Interview him if he's willing. Yeah, not only as it said, found a Series of Paris guest. Yeah, and King Foitless says, not a turf, thank God. Shannon says, I live in Maine. I recognize his name. I've probably met him at some point. Radical Pasta says, if I wasn't LGBT, I would probably be an anti-LGBT bigot. A lot of my family's anti-LGBT. It took me years to get rid of their bigotry and accept myself. There's a lot of that. Like, a lot of people have internalized homophobia that they just pick up from their environment. Yeah. Grady says, if we don't all know each other, but if we haven't slept with them yet, there's a good chance we slept with their ex. David says, this is amazing. That's what Derek says. Are you going to call him up and do an episode with him? I think I will. I'm going to write to him and be like, hey, would you be up for doing an interview? Norman says, seeing he's a leader, he probably helped within 2 years after one passed. Oh, yeah, the anti-gay marriage ordinance in the early 2010s. I remember that. No, oh, my God, I don't remember that. 74. I think it was 74. Proposition 74 in Maine, the marriage equality one. Let's see. Yeah, chair of the advisory committee for the LGBTQ collection at the University of Southern Maine, Portland. Oh, my God, this is amazing. I can't believe we found him. This is great. Oh, my gosh, he's cited in this task force newsletter from 74. There it is. Christmas, call it Christian stuff. Christmas. Now, Google said that it found his name in here, but the Chrome search is not finding it. Oh, yeah. Here. Oh, I'm searching for Chris. It's Steve. Steve, not Chris. No, wait, it is. Yeah, it is Steve. I don't know why I was searching for Chris. The other gay name. The next meeting will be at the Gay Community Center in Bangor. Steve Bull will chair. The interview with Keane, an ex-career Marine, was homophobic classic. When Sharon and I entered the room, he showed up, made his first remark, which one of you is Steve Bull? I showed him that I was introduced him to Sharon. He mistook that for Sherman, and we were off and running. Wow. Let's see what else we got. I think this is the same. Bull. Yeah. Brought to the attention that a question pertaining to homosexuality appeared on the personal health forum for classified employees. Talking to several gay classified employees, we discovered the question is habitually answered no. It is much more than a tendency to me. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the question has been useless as well as discriminatory. Wow. So this is amazing. So he was an activist like way back in the day, way back in the 70s when he was just a college student. His papers are preserved. This is great. At the University of, looks like University of Maine, University of Southern Maine. Papers contain records of the club, photographs, contact sheet, photos, correspondence, ledger sheet, materials from the symposia. Oh, wow. DVD containing 3 pieces that aired on CBS in 77, including one featuring Steve and his parents, and a CD of radio program about APA decision on homosexuality. That's what we just watched. Well. That's what Derek says. Is he on Scruff? Deja says, so happy he's living his best life. David says, I'm glad to see he didn't die during the epidemic. Absolutely. Who needs Paul Lynde's bad Judy Garland hot takes? This is news. Yes. This is what we want. Game Monopoly. Oh, where can I get a copy? Yes. I'm sorry. I glossed right over that. I think we've talked about this on other streams. Very unofficial edition of Gay Monopoly, a board game, a celebration of gay life with this hunky alligator over here. With every color of the handkerchief coming out of his pocket. Delightful that that's preserved. You started searching for Paul Lynde, but ended up finding the amazing Steve Bull. Yeah, this was a fruitful search, to put it, to use that term. How fantastic. All right, and it just, yeah. And we weren't even looking for him. We were looking for something about, what was it, Jean? I can't remember her name now. Anyway, here's an ad for Pardon Mon Affaire. a stylish, smiling, beguilish comedy. It's such a 70s art film title, Pardon Mon Affaire. Hell of a lot of fun. Star Wars. That's right, 77. Would have been right about this time. What was this? July of 77. All right, just looking through here to see if there's anything else of interest, but not really. Not really. Well, that is quite a find. That Steve Bull discovery is delightful. I'm going to write to him on Facebook and see if he wants to do a Series of Paris interview, because I think he would be an interesting person to talk to. Woo! Oh, Brian, thank you again for the tip. Wow, you're so generous. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. It'd be amazing to have this guy interviewed. Maybe see if he still has those bell bottoms. I know. I was thinking that. I didn't want to be shallow about it, but the bell bottoms are good. The little cutoffs are good. He had good taste in pants. Radical Pasta says, hey, Matt, love your work. I think this is the first time I've watched one of your live streams. Well, welcome. Join my live streams over on Twitch if you want lots more. I'm doing here. Let me switch to the full screen over here. Join my live streams over on Twitch. There's the URL right down there in the corner, twitch.tv/MattBaum. I'm live streaming over there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific to 6 p.m. Pacific. It's a great time. We just hang out. We chat. We play a little Stardew Valley and just, talk about how our lives and our weeks are going. I just realized I've been wearing the hat for this entire stream almost. This has been a long one. We've been going for 3 hours, I think. Ugh. But what was I saying? Yes, join me over on Twitch, because we just have a nice little chit chat. Instead of searching news archives, we play some video games, and it's a real fun time to just hang out with friends. So come over for that. I'm going to wrap it up soon because we've been going a long time, and I need to eat some lunch. My goodness. But thank you to everybody for stopping by. Thank you, Brian, for all the tips, and thanks to everybody else who had tips in the chat for me. I'm very, very grateful. It's your support that makes it possible for me to do these live streams. You can also support me over on Patreon at patreon.com/MattBaum. There's a link in the description, I'm pretty sure. And you get all kinds of benefits for becoming a member and joining that community over there. Some exclusive video clips from me. You get... what else? You get some stuff in the mail, depending on what level you're at. Early access to my videos. All that stuff. So head on over to patreon.com/MattBaum to become a backer. And head on over to head over to twitch.tv/MattBaum to join us for those live streams over there. Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoon, if you're on the West Coast, and evening if you're on the East Coast. And all hours of the day and night if you're in Europe and elsewhere. Thanks so much for popping by for this adventure in the archives. I had such a great time with you all. And next live stream over here in 2 weeks, February... I don't know what day it is. February 13, I think. Let me double check that. Yeah, February 13th. And I've already set up the live stream for that. So if you go onto my channel, it should say there's an upcoming live stream on the 13th. You can set a reminder and it'll give you a little ding ding on the bell once it goes live. So do come join me for that in 2 weeks. Come join me on Twitch. Come join me on Patreon. There's lots of places to join me. And draw me as a rabbit. Everyone, I want to see more art.